and welcome to a very special episode of the Geek Heart Games podcast. That is right, it is episode number 100. That is right, we've got 100 episodes in the can. We cannot believe it's been going this long. We are so excited. Oh yes, I'm Sam Suvak alongside Cody Tetrick. Cody, how excited are you for this episode?
If you took my excitement and divided it by 4, that's how excited I'd be.
That doesn't seem very excited.
About 25% excited.
Really?
Because it's our 25th episode.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because, on my notes, it says it's the 100th episode. And if I wrote it down, then I'm pretty sure that that's what's correct.
Oh shit, you're right. It is 100 episodes.
Really?
Man, we've been doing this so long, I forgot. Get up there in that age. Get kind of old.
Not really. Youngin', but
kinda.
Some of us are. Are you just playing along with me because you think I'm old? And, I can't handle the truth?
Whoa. Now you're putting words in my mouth and I don't appreciate it.
Okay, so I didn't expect you to go along with that. So, I don't know. Let's back this up. No, yes, it's episode 25. I just, I wanted to have some fun. I thought Cody would stick to his guns further and enforce that it was actually the 25th episode. But he's such a good improv guy. He just goes along with me. So of course he went along with it. And then I panicked and didn't know what to do. So,
that's how we ended up robbing that bank that one time. I just kept going along with you. That didn't happen. What?
That was a skit on a video we did that wasn't real. So
yeah,
just don't try to look for it on YouTube. It's we took it down because we thought it was in poor taste. It's fine. All right, but Cody, for real, this is our 25th episode. We are a quarter of the way to 100 episodes.
Hell.
How excited are you for this episode?
Very excited, Sam. I've been looking forward to this for the past 2 weeks because we've talked about this for a while, and I'm excited. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, to celebrate our 25th episode, we wanted to do something a little special, a little different, a little fun, perhaps a little frisky, I might say.
You might.
Yeah, I might. Cody wouldn't, but I would.
Some would say it would give you the goosebumps, but I mean, hey.
Hey, you never know what's going to happen. Could get real emotional here. So since it's the 25th episode, we like doing things with numbers, things that match. We said, hey, let's do our top 25 games of all time. And it seemed like a real good time to do it. If we waited for 50 episodes, we'd have to do 50 games of all time. That's a lot of games. This is already probably going to be a long episode. That would be so long. Having to rank 50 games, that's tough. So we just decided 25 was the magic number. So I'm pretty excited for this. Cody's pretty excited. He said we wanted to go over the rules first before we started. I'm a little confused because I'm hosting and I say no rules. So,
it's not like rules. It's just explaining to people what's happening.
All right, why don't you explain what's happening, Cody?
So we both have our list of 25 games. So we're gonna go turn by turn, saying, hey, here's my number 25, and then Sam will say her 25. And we'll talk about the game, what it meant to us. Mm-hmm. Except for if we have the same game on our list, but one is ranked higher than the other. So let's say, for my number 25, I have insert blank game here. But Sam has that game ranked 20 on her list. We would have to wait till her number 20 to talk about it. And so we would just continue on. It's just so we're not repeating stuff constantly. It's so that we got this idea from Talking Movies. It's a podcast where they talk about movies and they do ranking stuff, and we got this from that. And so credit where credit is due. Yeah.
All right. Let's hop in here and talk about our favorite games. Although before we start, do you want to mention any honorable mentions, or do you just want to get to it?
Do you have any? Did you ask?
I have some, but we don't have to go over them.
We can throw some out there.
Do you have any? Or we didn't discuss this beforehand, so I'm kind of throwing it under the bus.
We have not, but I can. I want to ruin that. Ooh.
Okay,
You go.
let's not do it.
Let's not do it. Okay.
Let's not do it. You know, maybe later in Discord, if someone is curious what didn't make the cut, we'll go over that. But otherwise, it's just the 25. Technically times 2, because there's 2 of us. So, I mean, you know. Double.
I'm sure there's some overlap, so it's like 47, probably.
I don't know. How many, let's take a little guess right here. How many overlaps do you think we have?
I'm going to go at least 12 games overlap. Because I feel like we have very similar tastes in some sense. But then I have some very different games that I know you probably have never played.
I am guessing 6 overlaps. What did you say? How many did you say?
I said 12.
Oh my god, like totally doubled. We're gonna. This is
that was probably a very not good number guess, so you're probably gonna win this.
Do you want to reconsider?
I'm gonna jump it down to 10.
10. Okay, that's a good number.
Because we'll do like whoever's closest on the numbers.
Yeah.
So if it's 9, I fucking win.
If it's 8, we're just perfectly tied. Like, and that's good for us. So I'm happy with that. But I think it'll be fun to see how well we know each other, considering how well we think we drive on these lists. But let's just get down to it. Cody, what is your... Okay, hold on. I do want to say something not really about a rule. Okay, let me just say this. So, making the list, there can be any reason for it being on the list. It could be a fantastic game. You could have had a really personal experience with it. Something about it really touches you. So anything could cause these games to be on the list. They might not necessarily be...
These are our personal top 25 lists. So if there's a game on here you absolutely despise, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not your list. It's our list. Respectively.
It's just the games that mean something to us. So
exactly.
The games of our lives. Like sand through the hourglass, these are the games of our lives. Okay.
I almost dropped my notebook. Okay. All right.
Cody.
So,
what is your number 25 game of all time?
So my number 25 game of all time. It's a little game called Paragon. So Paragon was a third-person action MOBA that was on PS4, PC, and Xbox. So in Paragon, it was the basic MOBA standard where there's 3 lanes, there's a jungle, and my friends and I just found that game at a time when like we were kind of in a game drought almost, and I ended up putting like 200 something hours in that game, and we had just had so much fun with it, and like games would last like hours sometimes, but like we were having fun throughout it all, and like there were so many unique and interesting characters in it. There was a character named Narbash who was this orc who played the drums, and so one of his abilities was he would play the drums and have a healing circle around him. There was a gigantic lizard creature named Rampage whose ultimate would make him freak out, and he would grow like 20 sizes. Like, Epic had a really great game on their hands. It's tragically they shut down the servers and stuff earlier this year. It was a really fun game. I played it on the final day it was out, and like, it wasn't the game I fell in love with, but it did, like, it holds a special place in my heart just because I had so many fun times with the people I got to play with, and like, it's kind of the theme of my list is like games that like meant something to me in that time. So yeah, so that's my number 25, Paragon.
Nice. All right, my number 25. You remember previously how I said there are no rules, okay? So this game, in air quotes, it's called Logo, and technically it's more of a programming language than a game. However, when I was in elementary school, we had computer lab, and one of the things we learned was how to program in Logo. And you would just type in these simple commands, like you have this little turtle that was like your cursor, and you'd say like, go forward 10 spaces, turn right, go forward 10 spaces. And then like you would program this in and hit return, and it would go like draw your lines that you told it to do. And so like this was, you know, like learning how to think like a programmer, like step by step how to do something. But it was fun because we got to do it on the computer, so it was kind of game-like. And I think it had a really big influence on my life because, like, I enjoyed playing with that. And, like, I love code, like, now in life. I love anything to do with computer code. I've taken lots of little classes, kind of just for fun, just because I would like to learn how to do it. And just, like, that line of thinking, like, you have to be real specific. Like, if this happens, do this. If not, do this. Do all this. So it's just, like, it's shaped who I am. It's, like, made me really nerdy, maybe. Or maybe I was already this way, and this just helped bring it out. But, like, even, like, I love Excel spreadsheets. I know that's stupid. I love working with formulas in Excel. So that's just, like, the kind of nerd I am. And this was one of the earliest things I remember that kind of got that passion going in me. So, Logo, check it out. There are still, like, emulators online that you can just go in your browser and do some little code and, like, make some line drawings and stuff. It's neat. So, yes, Cody.
Upon hearing your number 25, can I drop that crossover number down to like 2? Because now I don't know where this list is going.
That's the only one that's, like, questionable for a game. And I just wanted to put it on there because I feel like it's impacted my life. So, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. All right, Cody, take us to number 24.
All right, so number 24 was a little game for the Wii called Mario Galaxy. So I remember I've played Mario games in the past, but I never think I really played them to completion before this game. This was like my first Mario game where I sat down and was like, I want to beat this game. And like I just like would go to school, come home, hop off the bus, and it was like, it's Mario Galaxy time. Probably should have been doing my homework, but whatever. So yeah, and like the Wii gets a lot of shit, but like it really was a really good console.
It was
in my
really
opinion.
good console, and it did so much to just bring people to games that might not have been there before, and just it was great.
Yeah, and so like I liked the interactions with the Move controller, like shaking it to do like the spin attack, and like I liked that if I needed help, I could like shoot these little star bits at stuff to stun them for a second. Like it was a really fun Mario game, and I enjoyed it so much I ended up playing through it multiple times, once by myself, then once with my sister, and like I think I still own it on disc somewhere. Like it was just one of my favorite Mario games of all time.
Was it multiplayer, like co-op, where you could play together at the same time?
No, it was when I say I played with my sister, it was more of like
Take turns.
I helped her get through stuff. Yeah. But yeah, and like I don't know. I think the like theme of like you're on this spaceship that's just going through space, and that's like you going to different worlds as you go into different planets, and like that was just a really cool take on Mario, in my opinion. So yeah, Mario Galaxy, a lot of fun.
Cool. I predict that won't be the last time Mario makes an appearance on this list. So.
Cool.
All right. So my number 24 is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Let me state for the record, I have always and will always want to say Ocarina of Time, but I have since learned that that is not correct. Ocarina is the correct pronunciation, and whatever. But this game, I had tried to play like the original Zelda on NES and couldn't do it. It sucked, so I had no interest, right? In college, Nintendo 64, I was friends with this guy, and he's like, hey, play this Zelda game. It's great. And I'm like, I don't know. But he let me borrow his game. And the most important part is he also let me borrow this little magazine that was a strategy guide for how to play Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. And that just made such a huge difference because this was back in the time the internet was just starting and they did not have YouTube. They did not have guides about how to do stuff in video games. Currently, you know, if I get stuck, I just hop online and I can figure out how to do it. But we didn't have that. So this magazine was just like groundbreaking for me. Like there is no way that I could have played this game and beat it without having the guide. I would have gotten too frustrated. I would have stopped. So, I mean, it literally like changed the way I play video games because it was just a way for me to see, you know, I can get through stuff. There's help out there and ways to do it. And it made me enjoy the game so much, which it's a great game on its own. But like if you're getting frustrated with stuff, you're not going to enjoy it as much. So this helped me fully enjoy the game. And just for many years, like I would say that Legend of Zelda was my favorite game of all time. And so while I'm not, like I tried to go back and play it a while back and I was like, yeah, doesn't have the same pull for me anymore. But it had a spot in my heart for quite a while, so it deserves a spot on the list. So, there you go.
Cool.
Yeah. Number 23, Cody.
So I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time for the SNES. And technically arcade cabinet, because I have played it on an arcade cabinet before.
Okay.
So this is like one of my earliest gaming memories is sitting down with my two brothers and we played Turtles in Time. And I don't think we ever actually beat the game, but it was just fun to play as the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
The most recent time I can remember playing it is there's a barcade in Baton Rouge, and we went there, my brother and I with his family, and we got on the arcade cabinet and played it, and like once again, did not get very far, but it's just one of those games that you have such good memories about it. I remember like getting to the Western world, which I think is like the furthest we ever probably got, which I think was pretty far in my opinion. Like how cool it was and how it introduced me to like comics in a way, because like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are rooted in comics, and like it made me want to go like watch the TV shows and stuff, and like it was such a bonding experience for me and my brothers when I was younger. Like it was just like, hey, like let's play some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like got nothing better to do, let's do it. I of course always had to be Mikey, because in my younger years I was like, yeah, be the funny guy. More of a Raph guy now. I like Raphael. So yeah, TMNT Turtles in Time was just really cool. Soundtrack was fucking killer. So good.
Question, so was this one where you co-op would all play together at the same time?
Yes. Yeah, okay. So you could pick to be any of the turtles. And yeah.
Follow-up question here. So you played with your two brothers, so that's three people playing with the four turtles, right? So you have
one turtle would be left out.
Yeah, one turtle would be left out, and you have a sister. So
she was not.
She never got to play.
Born.
No,
not born at that point.
Okay, she wasn't born, so that's a good excuse. Okay, because if she'd been born and she never got to play with you, I might have words. But okay, yeah. I'll let that slide.
What's your number 23, Sam?
My number 23 is South Park: The Fractured Butthole. So this game is just stupid, silly fun, which I would enjoy regardless. It also was the game that really helped me be okay with turn-based combat and having fun in games like that, because before that I'd been really against it. But the most important thing about this game is when I played it, which was last year, October of last year, and that was a couple of months after I had to put my dog Gizmo to sleep. And like right after I did that, I was okay with it. I knew I made the right decision, and it was fine. And then like as more time went on, I just got sadder and sadder. And so towards the end of October, I was like just the saddest that I've ever been in my life, really. And this game really helped to cheer me up, because fart humor is always going to be funny, no matter what. There was one scene in particular where the guys go to this retirement home and they're entertaining the elderly patients, and you're playing different instruments for this really stupid song. And like you get a guitar and you play it, and I think you get a triangle and you play it, and then you get a flugelhorn. And, like, your guy doesn't know how to play the flugelhorn, so of course he just sticks it up his butt and starts farting to play it. And it was cracking me up, okay? And so while this was happening, there was one day I had come home from work early because I was sick. It was on Halloween. It was this weird thing. What were those air quotes for?
Sick. Air
No,
quotes.
I was seriously sick. Like, I'd been sick for like a week because, as I found out later, they were doing construction on the floor below us, and they'd moved some of the like pillars that hold up the floor, and so like it would wobble more than it used to, but like only slightly, so you couldn't really tell. But it was like I was getting motion sickness for like a week, and I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I was constantly sick to my stomach. So this is one of the days where I'd come home early, and I was playing this game. And the most important thing happened. I looked out the back door at just the right time, and I saw that cat right there walking across my patio. And that was the first time where I like opened the door and I was like, hey, do you want some treats? And that started the journey to get Aloy into my life. So it all just kind of came together, and like that's the game I was playing at the time, and so it'll always be important to me. So. And also, I mean, that's where we got our time fart ability, so it's important for that too. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Cody, what is the 22nd game on your list?
So, 22nd game is Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Okay.
So, when you're a kid, there are a couple things that are cool to you. Violence and boobs are two of them. So
That's
when we got GTA Vice City for the PS2, my life was pretty great. I remember not knowing what I was doing in this game, not really understanding the story, but I knew I could drive a car and jump off ramps and run people over, and then the cops would come find me. And somehow I would always end up at the strip club with the cops chasing me. Don't know how I got there, but would always get there.
Is that why that time we robbed the bank you wanted to go to the strip club right after?
Probably.
Okay.
So hey, it happens. GTA Vice City was another game that I played with my brothers. I definitely don't remember like what was going on in the story most of the time, but I do remember like helping do some like easy driving missions. Because it was cool to like get into a car and like mess with the radio station and on the car. And like I remember going back to that game and actually like knowing what's going on because I was older, and like probably one of the better GTA games in my opinion. I never got to play 4, which was like a huge oversight on my part. But like Vice City's soundtrack was so good. Like that's where I learned about Guns N' Roses, and
was Paradise City on the soundtrack?
That's Paradise City.
Oh my god,
Paradise City and Welcome to the Jungle, both of them were on there.
That's why
those are like
yes. That's why Burnout Paradise was almost on my list. It didn't quite make it, but those songs are so good.
So a combination of like how good the music was, and then like how much fun I had playing with my brothers, really like cements that game like as one of my favorite games of all time. Just because even though I probably never got to the end and like never knew what happened to Tony, it was just really good. Like it was a good memory. So yeah. 22 GTA Vice City.
I mean, you always remember your first boobs in video games, right? So
it's really nice.
That's
really
what they say. All right, hard pivot off of that. My number 22, maybe not. It's Drawful, and you know, it depends on who you're playing with. There could be some boobs in that game too. The reason that it's on my list is just because like that's a game that I started playing with my family. Whenever we would get together for somebody's birthday or like a holiday, and like the family would just like kind of want to sit around and talk, and you know I'm not big for just sitting around and talking, so like I'd get them going. I'd be like, hey, let's check out this game, let's play this game. And surprisingly everybody in the family loved Drawful, and it's so easy because you can just play on your phone, and everybody's horrible at drawing on your phone, so it doesn't matter. And we would just have some of the funnest times drawing crazy stuff, trying to figure out like what my parents are drawing, like what is this? Sometimes there'd be something that would be like not really scandalous but a little bit scandalous, and then like your parents have to draw it and you're like, oh god, this is embarrassing. But you know, it was just fun, and it was just a way for me and my family to bond together and have some fun. So yeah, Drawful. It's a good time for everybody. Okay. Cody, you know, sometimes I like kind of panic and I just like to double check that we're recording. I know we're recording, but I just want to double check. So I'm going to switch over. Oops. Okay, we're still recording. We're good to go. Okay. I just, let me, okay.
So number 21 on my list is
Wait, can
Pokemon...
we start over? Because there was just a little bit of a and I couldn't understand what you're saying, so go ahead.
So number 21 on my list is Pokemon Ruby. So I've been given many Pokemon games throughout my life. You've heard the story of me getting Pokemon Yellow. Then I got Pokemon Crystal. I did not know what I was doing in either of those games. So Pokemon Ruby is the first Pokemon game that I actually knew what I was doing, and I actually felt like I understood how to be Pokemon Master. And I think like the team element of Pokemon Ruby, and technically Sapphire is its counterpart, like it was just a very easy story to understand when I was first getting into Pokemon. Like in Pokemon Ruby, the enemy is Team Aqua, and they want to flood the world, so you're just stopping them from flooding the world, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the Pokemon in Gen 3 were just really cool looking. Like your starters were a fire chicken, or some like weird tadpole, or a tree gecko. Just really cool in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was the first Pokemon game that I actually like beat all the gyms, and then I got to the Elite Four and I beat them, and I was like, I feel really accomplished. I finally fucking get Pokemon. And so
you're a Pokemon master.
Exactly. So Pokemon Ruby will always hold a special place in my heart as being the first Pokemon game I actually technically beat.
Nice. Now is the part in the podcast where we pause and everyone listening can play a game and bet themselves whether or not that's the only Pokemon game to show up on Cody's list. I personally am going to bet that it is not the only one on the list. I don't know the Pokemon games. I don't know how many there are, but I'm going to bet there's another one at least on his list. So we'll have to wait to find out. Even I don't know. It'll be a surprise, but let's keep going. So my number 21 is Super Mario Brothers 3 on the regular Nintendo. Sorry, the original Nintendo. And this was just, like, I had the first Super Mario, and it was fun, and we would play it, like, me and my sister would play and take turns and stuff. But then, like, Super Mario 3 came out, and it seemed like it was just, well, there were a lot of things. First, it was a little bit easier, it seemed, to control than the first one was. Like, I could get further in 3. You had the fun stuff where you could hold the button down and you could fall down behind the scenery, and then you could like run through the level behind the scenery, which was cool. Like that was like my first experience on having like weird little hidden Easter eggs in games. Like there probably was stuff in the first game that I just didn't know about, but that was cool. And then you got like the new suits, so you got like the Tanuki Mario, and he had his little tail. You could kind of fly a little bit. You got the Princess Wing where you could fly a lot. And then, like, you eventually got the little frog Mario, and he was just so adorable. I loved him so much. So it was just so many new things and so much fun, and that's just, like, I loved playing that one. That was one of my favorite games when I was little. So it just needs a spot on the list. So, yeah. All right, so we are at number 20. Cody.
So number 20 for me is Gears of War 3.
Okay.
So for Gears of War 3, like, it was, for all intents and purposes, going to be, like, you know, the final Gears of War game. Like, I didn't know back then, like, oh, there'd be another one, or two other ones.
At least.
And, yeah, at least. So, in Gears of War 3, you're kind of wrapping up the war with the Locusts, but also, like, it has a character death in it that, like, this legitimately may have been the first time I cried at a video game. There's a character who has an arc throughout all the Gears of War games, and in 3, he sacrifices himself. I won't say how, just in case anybody was want to play through those games. He sacrifices himself to save the rest of the group, and like it's this character moment, and like this is where his story ends, and I just just fucking wrecked. Like I was like, oh god, fuck. And then you get to the end, and like you're like, I'm doing this for this character. Like we're gonna end this pretty much. It's like how you feel getting into the end of the game, and you do it, and like it's just like I suck at the Gears of War multiplayer, but like the story of Gears of War I always enjoy, just because like it's like this apocalyptic, almost zombie-like, because the locusts are like weird creatures. I don't know. The Gears of War games have always just been one of my favorites. Like it's just been like a series I've enjoyed, and so like at the time when I was like, all right, this is the end. Like this is the end of Gears of War story. I was really like sad, but like almost in a good way. And like seeing that character death early on in the game, I was just like, man, this is really hitting home. Like Gears of War 3 always have a very special place in my heart because of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
My number 20 is the Oregon Trail.
I was gonna fucking make a joke at 25 that you're gonna have the Oregon Trail on this list, and you do. I fucking, oh my god, let's go talk about the Oregon Trail and your dysentery.
Oh man, so I mentioned earlier, in elementary school we had computer lab, and we'd have to do our educational games and do stuff like that, but then like we'd have free days and we get to have fun, and you were always like running trying to get the Oregon Trail disc first because like that was the funnest game to play. Like you got to name your characters after your friends if you wanted to. I mean, you could try to make some of them die if that was your goal. You would just like get to, I think you could like personalize their tombstones when they died. People would get dysentery. You'd have to like manage stuff like, what am I going to buy? Am I going to ford the river or just try to walk across it? It was just fun decision making like that. And then the hunting was so much fun in Oregon Trail. And I know it was like the simplest hunting ever because it's just like top down, like little animal comes, you shoot it. And, like, you'd have to be careful because you could only carry so much meat back to the wagon. But, like, hunting in Oregon Trail was, like, my favorite thing to do. So I think that was, like, an early warning sign that, like, I was going to like shooters eventually. But that was just, I mean, it's a great game. It's a classic. People still talk about Oregon Trail for a reason. So, did you ever play it, Cody?
I believe I've played about 20 minutes of it on a computer in my high school, and I was like, this is very weird. I don't know why people like this. I can see now why people like it.
I'm not sure it holds up very well now compared to, what if you start with more modern games, going back to this old game being like, huh, okay, that's interesting. But at the time...
Yeah, at the time...
It was like the greatest thing we had. Yeah, so... All right, number 19. Cody, what you got?
I have the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Okay. So in a weird way, Skyrim is like my first experience with a fantasy-based RPG. Like I never got into Zelda, I never got into Dragon Quest, Dragon Age. So like this was like my first like fantasy RPG. And boy was I hooked. I legitimately made 3 different characters and got them to like just before the final end boss, and then just would remake characters because I was bored. I was like, I don't like this rogue character. Time to make a mage. Oh, I don't like this rogue character. This mage character. Let me make a barbarian, pretty much. Big two-handed wielding dude. And that game I lost so many hours in. I remember my buddy also got it, and like we were in our college dorm room, and we spent hours like not wanting to look up how to become werewolves, but like just like we'll eventually figure it out. And like after like 20 hours, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking look up how to be a werewolf. I remember my buddy got turned into a vampire right before he was gonna become a werewolf, and then he like got the glitch because back in the day, Skyrim used to have a lot of bugs, and if you became a vampire, you were just fucked. Everything wanted to kill you pretty much. And so he had to restart this character that he like loved, and I felt so bad for him. Skyrim is just, it's pretty much like go out there and be whoever you want to be. And like, there's not a lot of like, you don't even have to do the story if you don't want to.
Mhm.
You could just run around and fight things and level up and just do whatever you want. And like, I had never experienced that kind of freedom in a game because like in other games I'll talk about later on, like you're kind of forced to do some kind of a story if you
Mhm.
want to do anything. In this game, it was just go do whatever you want. Like you don't have to go talk to Sir Ebenezer over here. Just go up that fucking mountain and go in that dungeon, and then go see him later on and have a quest completed already. So Skyrim was just a lot of fun. I always talk about wanting to go back to it, but I don't want to pay more than $20 for it. So I'm like, I don't know, like I'm a cheapskate, I guess. But yeah, Skyrim was just so much fun. I lost a lot of hours to that in college when I picked it up. So
Cool. Alrighty, my number 19 is Tales from the Borderlands. Like, I had never played one of the actual Borderlands games before, and I think I just heard good things about Tales from the Borderlands, and I don't think I'd ever played a Telltale game before, and I was a little concerned about it because I didn't know if I would like that. I thought I might get bored, just like there's not a lot to do. You just kind of watch stuff and then you make some decisions occasionally. But once I got, this is the perfect game to start as a Telltale game. Like if you've never played anything like this before, this one is perfect. It's so much fun. The Borderlands universe is great, and the humor that is built into this game is just, it's just fantastic. They've got great characters, and then like in between each chapter, they would have like a musical montage of like what the characters have been doing in this time that kind of was like an opening credits scene, and they were just the funniest things ever. And I found myself, I was like, you know what, if this were just an animated movie, like I would sit down and watch it because it's so much fun. And then being able to like make decisions and do stuff too made it really enjoyable. It's got a really great story, and like you said with Gears of War 3, it was the first one to make you cry. I'm pretty sure that this game is the first game that made me cry, and then it's also the first game that made me laugh out loud. So it has like, it runs the gamut of emotions. It made me care about this character that I really didn't think I was going to care about at all. Like I thought this one was just like comic relief. I was like, yeah, whatever. But then like there was a real emotional scene, and I was just like, oh my god, what are you doing to me? But yeah, I love it. If they made a sequel to this, I'd be buying it day one. So if you haven't ever tried it and haven't ever tried a Telltale game because you think maybe it's not for you, give this one a try. Yeah, I like it. We are up to number 18, Cody.
my number 18 is Marvel Heroes Omega. Uh, so Marvel Heroes Omega was a top-down ARPG, um, based around the Marvel universe. And so like I had played this game when it first came out on PC when it was in beta, uh, way back in like 2012, I want to say. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, but my PC can't run it, so like whatever. Like I barely like survived the beta at day one. Um, so when I heard it was coming to console, I was like, fuck yeah! Like this is my chance. Like this is pretty much a Marvel MMO RPG, and I'm so excited. Um, so like beta was there, day one, bought like a founder's pack. We played it together. We had a video series for our old company talking games, and it was called Heroes Hideout, and we had so many stupid, wacky adventures in that game. Um, Captain America and Squirrel for life.
Woohoo!
Uh, this game was so much fun to me because like there was constantly stuff to do. They added stuff the first couple months, um, and like it was just a lot of fun. Like I enjoyed like picking up a new character and like falling in love with that character. Like Jean Grey slash the Phoenix was like one of my favorite characters, and like I grinded for like all of the good gear for her. Like I tried to do everything I could to get like the max stuff because like I was like prepping for when they were going to introduce raids and stuff. And like it was a little bittersweet in the end when like all this bad stuff came out about like one of the CEOs, and so they shut down the They shut down Gajillion, and slowly like the game like was dying. But I kept playing even till the end. And like it's a game I wish could make a comeback, because like I dropped so much money in that game because like I bought characters constantly. Like I think when they refunded me, like Sony had to refund me a bunch of money because they shut down. I got like $80 back from like 2 months worth. I was like, shit, probably should like watch my spending. It was just such a fun game, and there was always like something to do. Like you could just go to Midtown and run around and fight different bosses. Like the Defenders event was really cool. The Spider-Man event for Homecoming was awesome. I would have loved to see where that game is now on console, just because like it had such life to it, I feel, and like the best part of that game was like I felt like our friendship grew stronger through that game. Like it
Definitely.
was our first video series we did together, and like it was so much fun to just like plan stupid skits. Like we made Justin Townsend Doctor Doom because he shot a squirrel in some other video series he did, and like it was just so much fun. Like everything we did in that game, and I miss it to this day. It's a game I wish was still there so I could go back and play. And I'm hoping eventually we get a new Marvel game that's similar to it. So yeah, Marvel vs. Omega will always have a special place in my heart.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of reasons that led to us being here today. But
Yeah.
if you hadn't said, "Hey, you want to make this video series with me for Marvel Heroes?" we definitely would not be here today. So,
Exactly.
it's got a place in both of our hearts. However, it's only got a place on Cody's list, unfortunately. What are you going to do? We only got 25 games. All right. Okay. All right, so my number 18, this one's a little tricky. I'm sure it's going to earn me a look, okay? So it's either Sonic the Hedgehog 1 or Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Because, like, these games are pretty similar. And, like, I know I played both of them a lot. And I can't really recall which one it was that I played the most. I'm leaning towards 2 because, again, like, I feel like the sequels are usually better. Definitely on that one. But, like, I used to play so much Sonic the Hedgehog. And what I would do is I would come in, I would turn the volume down, I would put in my Aerosmith Greatest Hits cassette and listen to that while playing Sonic the Hedgehog. And I just, like, I can't even tell you, like, how many hours I spent doing that in my youth. I think this was probably, like, middle school age for me. But, like, I just had so much fun with it. It was, like, the fun new thing after Nintendo was the Sega Genesis, you know? And Sonic could just, like, go so fast. And that was definitely the first time I'd ever played a game with that type of speed and excitement to it. And it got me hooked. I loved it. So, yeah, that's... that's my Sonic 1 or 2. They were both great games. I don't know.
I'll allow it.
It was a long time ago.
That's reasonable.
All right, Cody, let's get to number 17.
Okay, so number 17 for me is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. This was the first Call of Duty game I played back in high school, and I remember being hooked the second I got in there. So similar to some of my other games, like this game was definitely for me like who I played with. I made so many friends through this game. A bunch of the friends I had made through another game that I'll talk about later. We hopped over to this just because we needed like a break from regular games. And I remember the first like couple games, I had no idea what I was doing. I would walk around with like a secondary that was like a mini machine gun that looked like a stapler almost, like a staple gun. And I would crouch around the map and hope I don't get caught. And I'd always die, and I'd go like 5 and 20. And like, as someone who like prides himself on being good at shooting video games, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down. This is where my watching YouTube, like video games on YouTube started. I wanted to know how to be the best Call of Duty player I could be. So I watched guides, I watched other people play, like I learned like different classes to play. Um, and eventually like I got really good at that game. Like I consider like we always would go and play the game mode Search and Destroy, which is like kind of the almost competitive game mode back then. And like we had a pretty good win record. I feel like we tried really hard. Um, I think like my favorite moment from that game was there was a map called Estate, and it was you were in this forest, but there was a building up top that was like an estate, and like there was like a couple shacks around, and like there was like a driveway where like you go up this hill and like you get to the driveway of the estate, and I equipped a mini Uzi, silenced, and I put on perks that were like would make me run super fast and pick up my gun super fast, so when I stopped running, I could shoot fast. And like, call search and destroy rounds last like 5 minutes. The round was over in 30 fucking seconds because I ran up this fucking driveway, turned, sprayed some people down to my left, ran in the house, sprayed down the other 3 people, and I killed everybody. And it was called an ace, is what they would call it in Call of Duty. It's my first ace.
Nice.
And I remember jumping up and yelling a little too loud at 10 o'clock at night, and I definitely got my ass chewed out over it. But like, such a fun game. It's the reason I was very passionate when they were talking about, oh, they're going to remaster Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 but not bring back the multiplayer. I was like, well, you're just stupid. Like, why would you do that? Because like, you don't play Call of Duties for the campaign. You play the Call of Duties for the multiplayer. Because that's where like the fun is usually.
Some people play for the campaign. Depends on the person.
Some people play for the campaign. Yeah. But yeah, this and like all the friends I made through Modern Warfare 2 were so amazing. Like I eventually started playing with people I went to high school with, and like it was just a lot of fun that we would play the game, go to high school, talk about the game, come home, play it some more, and so yeah, Modern Warfare 2 was a really amazing Call of Duty game.
Nice. All right, number 17 for me. I feel that we have reached what will be one of our first overlaps. So, it's God of War. I know.
No, we cannot talk about this.
No, I know. So, I know it's pretty high on the list, but
all right.
we'll get to that.
Well, hey, to be fair, my number 16 is another game I feel like we can't talk about yet.
Okay.
It's Gone Home.
Okay, again, we cannot talk about that.
All right.
Sweet 16. All right. I feel that my 16 I'm going to be perfectly safe talking about because it's Resident Evil 7.
Okay.
Not going to be on Cody's list. So, you guys probably know that I like me some Resident Evil. Number 6 just tore me down. I was like, no, what did you do? This is horrible. What have you done to Resident Evil? I was very skeptical when 7 was coming out. I was even more skeptical when I saw like that demo where you're just going through the house. You don't have a gun. You're not shooting anything. You're just kind of running for your life. I was like, what kind of... And I guess that was getting back to more original Resident Evil stuff. But, you know, I never played the original stuff. I played 4 and 5, and I liked shooting things. So I was pretty worried about it. I wasn't sure if I was going to get it, but then I did, and I fell in love. I fell in love immediately. I set a rule for myself that I could only play at night. I had to play without the lights on and with headphones on so that it was like super spooky. And it was. It is like a really scary game. You're going through that house. Your dude has wore like the loudest shoes ever in the history of man. Like, why wouldn't you wear some nice quiet sneakers if you're going to this place? But that's fine. So he's just clomping around. I'm like, please be quiet. I don't want them to hear me. So it's just tense. It's fun. It has its bad points, obviously. Some of the boss fights are a little excessive. But it made me believe in Resident Evil again. I have complete faith in that franchise that it's going to keep going in a great direction. I had fun playing it, and then I decided to go back and platinum it. And like, that's the hardest I've ever worked for a platinum. And like, there were moments when I just was overwhelmed by despair because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. and then to be able to find the way and power through and get it done, I was so happy, and I love that game. Like, I'd go back and play it again anytime. I want to help Cody get through the part he's stuck on, so maybe he'll find other parts to it that he loves, but I don't know. We'll get to that another day. So.
I remember seeing you playing this game all the time, and I was like, "What are you doing?" You were like, "I'm going for the platinum." So like right now I'm playing it through on this one, and like a couple days later I'd be like, "Oh, what are you doing now?" Oh, now I have to play it through on this, where I can only use healing items 3 times, and like I was like, "Good Lord, Sam, you're ridiculous." You mentioned honorable mentions earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling it now. I think Resident Evil 5 could be somewhere on this list by the time we finish it. So.
Oh my god, that's so exciting!
I'm loving that game. That's a really good game.
Oh, that warms my heart.
All right.
Okay.
So number 15 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Odyssey.
Okay.
Can we talk about it?
Absolutely.
It's on your list? Okay, well.
You know I didn't even finish that game.
Oh shit, you didn't. That's right, I forgot. So yeah, Mario Odyssey came out last year. Man, I love that game a lot. It was just really cool to like. It was kind of the reason I bought a Switch almost, because I was like, hey, I want to play Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I didn't get to play Mario Galaxy 2, and I kind of skipped out on the 3DS Mario games. I never played them, so like it was just like right place, right time. Like I want to play some Mario. Like I miss my boy. I love the story going on, like the whole like Bowser's going place to place, getting all this stuff ready for a wedding, and like there are some really cool moments in that game. Spoiler alert, if you don't care, skip forward about 20 seconds. You fight a dragon. When the dragon shows up, holy shit, I was like playing in handheld, and I jumped in the air, and I was like, what? A dragon? Like, it was so cool. The first time you see the T-Rex, the start, that's like in the first level, so don't even yell at me for that.
No.
The T-Rex in the start where you throw Cappy on him, so fucking cool. Like, there's just so many like cool ideas in that game. I love the way it was like each world felt different and vibrant. You go to the sand world, like there's like mariachi bands and stuff, and then like you go to like the feudal Japan world because that's Bowser's kingdom, and of course he wants a feudal Japan era thing. And the ending of that game, like the ending of the main story part, I haven't gone back and gotten any much of the moons. I know there's like something called the dark side of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
But the ending of the game were like just like kind of like final wrap up scene to what you're doing, escaping the chapel where Bowser's holding the wedding, was really cool, and like something I never thought they would do in a Mario game.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was number 2 on my top 10 last year. That's how much I loved it. Like it was just such a good Mario, like way better than Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Come at me. So yeah, like I had a blast with Mario Odyssey. And like playing it again with my niece, like where we got to play the 2-player stuff and do stuff together, was just like really cool. Like it's just, I think it is one of the best Mario games of all time, like hands down.
Cool. I mean, if you
don't have to agree with me, Sam.
If you like that kind of thing, then yes, absolutely. So, but I mean, there's so many Marios that there's a Mario for everybody. So that's fine. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it so much.
Okay.
My number 15 is House of the Dead Overkill. This is just like an arcade shooter where obviously you're shooting zombies. And it's got a lot of cutscenes, and it's like a 70s B movie type kind of buddy cop, but they don't really get along type movie thing in your cinematics. And it's just so funny and so vulgar. They cuss a lot. They say some funny things. The gore is pretty great in this, with just like, you're shooting things that are exploding. There's some boss battles that are like, there's gross stuff that happens. But I love this game. I got it on the Wii at first, and it was fun because you've got the Wii controller, so you just kind of point at the screen to aim. And it has a fun thing that you can do if you wanted to, if you're a crazy person, where you could get two remotes and do dual wield pistols. And so, like, you just aim, and that's so hard to do. It's not a good time. It's going to make you play worse than if you played with just one remote. But it's fun to do, and it's nice that it's available. I love this game so much that I bought it on PS3 also, because they had like a more ultimate edition where you got 2 extra levels. And so I wanted a little bit. Sometimes like when I was transitioning from Wii to PS3, like I bought some games again because I wanted the challenge of, okay, now I'm playing with a controller instead of the Wii where I can just point to aim. Like, it's going to be more difficult for me. I have to learn to do this. But yeah, I've played that game through so many times, just like having friends over to play it with them because you can do 2-player co-op. It's just so much fun. If it came out on a current console right now, I'd buy it again. I just love it. And hopefully they'll keep making some House of the Dead games and they'll be in this like style. But yeah, I love it and it's a very good time. So, all right, so we are moving on to number 14.
All right, so my number 14 is The Last of Us.
Okay.
So The Last of Us Remastered came with my PS4. And I remember being like, all right, I gotta beat this game before I can buy a new game. So I was dedicated. I it's almost like Naughty Dog is an abusive boyfriend, but you just love them so much that you stick with them even though they keep punching you in the gut over and over. This is a bad metaphor, I know.
No, to be fair, an abusive partner, because both men and women could be abusive. So let's not put it all on abusive boyfriends. It could be anyone.
Good point. So Naughty Dog is an abusive partner who just really wants to like keep punching me in the stomach every second they get. This was a game I remember crying through a lot because of certain moments that happened. I think has one of the like best endings in a video game, possibly. I think that ending was earned and made me. I already loved the character Joel and I loved Ellie, but it made me love them both more because I love their dynamic of this father-daughter thing they had going. And then like I finished the campaign and I was like, what's this faction thing? And I hopped into the factions. And Last of Us had one of the best multiplayers of all time, in my opinion.
Oh, wow.
I loved it so fucking much. Like, there was like all this cool like class stuff you could really do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could really make your character like almost like a sniper character or a shotgun character. I had a blast with it. I'm excited that Last of Us 2 is going to have factions again. Last of Us was just it's a game that you need to play. Like, it's breathtakingly beautiful at points. It's vicious and gut punching at points, and like it hits multiple emotions on the spectrum, and like it's a really good game. And like I recommend it to almost anybody who's like, hey, I'm gonna buy it on PS4. What should I buy?
Yeah.
Get The Last of Us. It's a good game. Like there are parts where you have to slog through, but it gets really good.
I agree with you. It is a fantastic game. It took me quite a while to warm up to it and to be in the mindset where this is something I wanted to play. But it's fantastic. It will make you cry, but you've forgotten probably the most important part. Ellie likes to tell puns, and she's got herself a little pun joke book. And when you play, what's the DLC called? Left Behind? No.
Left Behind.
Left Behind.
Yeah, it's Left Behind.
You get to see when she first gets that joke book, and like you can sit there it lets you go for about 5 minutes just saying, okay, tell me the next joke, and she'll just read the jokes and they'll laugh about them, and I'm like, tell me all the jokes, and I was like, I can keep doing this forever, and then finally it was done. She's like, okay, I think that's enough, and she puts the book away. But she's got some real great puns, so I highly recommend it. Okay, my number 14 is Battle Chef Brigade. This is a super adorable game. It's kind of an anime style. You're this girl who wants to go to the city to learn to be in the Battle Chef Brigade. So you have to go out and fight monsters, and then after you kill them, you get to pick up their body parts that have certain ingredients. Then you go to cook them, and it's a match 3 kind of gem system when you're doing your cooking, and you want to get matches to get higher level gems to get the highest points possible in your dish to impress the judges. And it's a really simple concept, but it's just super fun to play it. And then I thought it was just going to be yeah, we're doing this match 3, it's fine, it's fun, but it has a great story. All the characters are so well built, and the story arcs that it goes through were just really surprising to me. I didn't expect it to do all of this and get you so invested in it. But it's just a fantastic, good time. It's only $20. It's on Switch and PC. I'm pretty sure I've bought it on both Switch and PC because I got it on Switch first, and then I wanted to record some footage of it, but I didn't have my capture card yet, so I bought it on PC so I could record footage. So that's how much I like. Oh, also I bought it for at least 2 people for gifts because I love it so much. So I don't know. Just check it out. It's fun. So. Oh my God, we are up to number 13. Now, wouldn't it be incredible if both of our number 13s were Friday the 13th? I mean, they're not. It's definitely not. But It would have been cool if we'd done that. But instead, just go ahead and tell us what your actual 13 is, Cody.
My number 13 is Until Dawn. Not on your list? Okay. So, Until Dawn was a horror game where the choices you made and what happened to you stuck. And I thought it was revolutionary. This idea that unless you pulled the cable before it could quickly autosave, that character was fucking dead.
Yeah.
Until you restarted. And this game was important to me because I played with someone through it all, and it was a real bonding experience. And it's a really well done horror game. It feels like a 90s horror movie going on. There's twists and turns and psychological stuff going on. It's super amazing. So much fun. I remember getting to the end and I think, yes, I got to the end and I did one fucking thing wrong. And I killed a character. And I was like, I hate myself. And I almost was like, we're replaying the entire game just so I can get everybody saved. And I was like,
it was not clear at that point what the consequences of your action were going to be. So yeah. I think a lot of people made that mistake because they didn't understand what was going to happen. It was a tough one though. That was heartbreaking. So
yeah. We are going to talk about horror games in October, and this is a game that I want to deep dive into because it is so impactful to how different it is from other horror games that are out there. It's super amazing. The prequel is in VR, so I can't play that, so I don't know how well that ties in. I feel like I've heard bad things about it. I would love a second one, not around these characters, maybe just
the style.
Call it Until Dawn 2, but in that style, where your choices matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Until Dawn, such a breath of fresh air when it comes to video games. So yeah.
Fun fact. I also love Until Dawn. That was one of the games that like I had been wanting for a long time before I got the PS4. I'm like, if I get PS4, I could play Until Dawn. And it was actually the first game I played on my PS4 because I was so excited for it. And it did not let me down. It was a fantastic game. Another fantastic game, my number 13, is Doom. You guys, you've heard me talk about Doom Eternal and how excited I am. Man, I love Doom. I know you've been playing some of it. I want to go back and play some more of it. There's just something that is so fun about this game. It's so fast-paced. You're just running around. You shoot stuff, but then you've got the glory kills where you go in for the melee, and it's just so satisfying to like just mutilate these demons in different ways. You get a lot of cool different weapons. You get a fun chainsaw. There's that cat. The character designs are gruesome and amazing. The heavy metal soundtrack gets you so hyped up while you're playing. Like there's nothing better than just the combination of everything pulled together that is Doom. So yeah, I love that game. All right, we're getting close to the top 10, but we're not there yet. Cody, what is your number 12?
My number 12 is Monster Hunter World.
Okay.
Came out earlier this year. Talk about a series I knew nothing about going into. I hopped into the betas last year and was just like, I like this a lot. And a game that I've sunk 200 hours into, and like always going back and like having something like being able to pick up a new weapon and go fight a monster was so fresh, like, and fun. Really cool story, like these big, like almost like you versus Godzilla like matchups you could do. The constant support for the game has been amazing. I'm actually like gonna hop back in soon and like kind of catch up on what I've been missing. Like they've added a couple things. Just it was a game I needed at the time because it like was giving me everything I wanted that other games weren't. Like it was a time sink, but like it felt rewarding. Like even if I couldn't kill a monster, if I hit them and like a part fell off, at least I was getting a part that would help me eventually get to the sword I wanted. And like it was tough at first. Like it was a very big learning curve to getting good at killing monsters. But like I felt pretty confident towards like the end of me playing like hardcore, like no lifing that game. Like I knew like, hey, like if I timed this, like how to time it perfectly where like I get to do this big heavy swing that does like 5,000 damage and I'm gonna knock the fuck out of that monster and like help my teammates. Like it has some shortcomings where like the campaign where you had to like both see a cutscene separately before you can join each other was weird. But like it's made me a Monster Hunter fan for life and like introduced me to a series of games that I never knew, and like there's a Monster Hunter game coming out for Switch and I'm super excited for it. I actually need to go download the demo of it just to see what it's like. But yeah, I'm excited for whatever is next. Like I'm sure we're getting another Monster Hunter World game in a couple of years, and I'm there for it day one because Capcom won me over for the Monster Hunter series. It's a great game.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm glad you like it so much. That's fantastic.
I know you don't, so
it's not for me, but that's all right. Do you know what is for me, Cody? Worms. Worms is my number 12 game. Like it's hard for me to be more specific than that, because like a lot of the Worms games they're pretty similar. So like I played Worms Armageddon on my Wii, no, not my Wii, my Nintendo 64, and then also I think on my PS3. But if I had to pick like an actual number one favorite, it'd be Worms World Party. And that was a game that my friend Daniel had. He's the one who got me started playing Worms and grew my love of Worms here. And that one was just so much fun. It had this really fun soundtrack, or just theme song really. And then it had the different character not like I don't know what you call the group. So like there'd be the angry Scott voices, the Russian voices, like the redneck voices, and like we would just play it so much that like Daniel and I would just like randomly say like worm things in the worm voices to each other. Like we still say like stand to the right because it was something in Russian that we didn't know what the words were, but it sounded like stand to the right, and so we would just say stand to the right. But like it's just so much fun throwing crazy ass weapons out there, and more often than not blowing yourself up because it doesn't go according to plan. And it's just, they have some of the most inventive things ever. You know, you can have flying sheep, you've got the concrete donkey, you got banana bombs that just like explode everywhere. I just have so much fun with that game. We've got one Worms game on PS4 that we have from, I don't remember which one it is, but we've played that. And I mean,
WMD? I don't think it's
WMD, Weapons, Worms of Mass Destruction, okay. I think. We need to have another Worms community night and just play some.
Fun ass game.
It's so much fun. So, if you've never tried it, give it a try. Worms are fun, but they're addictive. Just keep that in mind. So, all right, number 11. What have you got?
So like we're getting close to the top 10 zone. Mm-hmm. So like it's getting a little hard here. So unfortunately,
that's what she said.
My number 11 is Destiny 2.
Okay, we can't talk about it yet.
Can't talk about it? Okay, your turn. Go for it.
Well, my number 11 is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Cannot talk about it.
All right, so currently we're up to 4 games in common. So let's see how this goes.
So my
number 10. We're into the top 10, you guys. Here it comes.
Made it. And boy, were you right. There is another Pokemon game on this list.
Who could have guessed? Oh my god, which one is it?
This Pokemon Diamond/Pearl.
Okay.
Because I technically played both. So like with Pokemon Ruby was like my first introduction to like understanding Pokemon, and then Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came along, and it was like that first Pokemon game that like I like maybe really love Pokemon. Like it's a Pokemon game I played probably 5 times across all 3 games that were in that generation. The story was really cool because you were stopping Team Galactic, and this dude wanted to open a wormhole that would destroy the planet and all the Pokemon and people, and I was just like, not today, motherfucker. 5 times. The Pokemon designs were really cool in that generation. I loved finding like new hidden stuff out. Like after you beat the game, you can go visit this random house in a town, and like normally you would never even go into because nothing's in there. But you go into it and there's a person sleeping in a bed, and you're like, well, you weren't here like a couple hours back. So you go to talk to them, and it turns out they're having nightmares, and this is where you get to run into a legendary nightmare Pokemon. And like I didn't find that out until I watched some random YouTube video on it, but it was super cool to find out. Mm-hmm. It was the first Pokemon game I actually like took my little DS and went into a GameStop because I wanted to receive a Pokemon because GameStop gives out Pokemon apparently. It was a blast. I love Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Fuck, now I want to go play it right now. Like I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, I really want to go play that. Like just some like really inventive stuff in that game. Like in the Pokemon series, like gyms have like evolved into like there's usually like almost like a puzzle mechanic to get around them. And like there was some puzzle mechanics in that generation that were just like super fun to get through. Like I remember the water gym, you had to like step on certain buttons on the floor to make fire hydrants pretty much stop shooting out water so you could pass. And like it was really cool. But yeah, this was the Pokemon game that made me like I love Pokemon so much. So I was really happy for it.
Nice.
All
right. My number 10 is Gone Home. So now let's talk about this fantastic game. I don't think I can talk about it except for with some light spoilers. So I'll put in the show notes where we stop talking about it if you want to skip ahead. So let me just say, like, I didn't really know anything about this game going into it, and I thought it was a horror game because you're going around exploring this spooky house. So I was excited for it. I was worried because, again, it's one of these walking simulators, and I was like, I don't know if I want to just walk around and look at things. That sounds really boring. But right from the get-go, the stuff that you're picking up and the little snippets of stories that you're finding out about your family are really engaging, and you get pretty hooked in, and like you want to learn about your sister Sam and what she's been up to. And I love the way the story unfolds because like you're finding out her relationship with this girl, but like you're slowly like I'm like, man, I think she might be gay. And then it turns out that the whole game is just about this love story. And it's not a horror game at all. And it was just like totally blew me away. And then it takes you on this emotional roller coaster because even once you figure out that really it's about a love story, it's like, oh my God, is this a tragic love story? What's happening? I don't know if I want to find out what happened and why, like, there's no one in the house right now. But just like the emotional journey that it takes you on is so good. And it's just planned out perfectly, like where things are hidden, how you find them, like the doors are locked, so you have to experience stuff in a certain order to get the story told to you just right. And it's like it was just a perfectly laid out game to convey the story in just the right way. And it just made it so emotional and so meaningful. Also that 90s Riot Girl soundtrack was amazing because like I'm listening to songs that I listened to in high school. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. It's just so good. Cody, what do you want to say about Gone Home?
Yeah, so you recommended the game to me, and like I was the same, but I was like, oh, it's a horror game, so like I'm down. Uh, and like I think I distinctly remember like you're walking down the first hallway in the game, and like a lightning hits outside, and like the lights flickering. You're like, oh shit, it's just about to go down. And even like probably like almost halfway through the game, you're still like, okay, this is a horror story because they're sending me into the basement. And you're like, this is where this shit's gonna happen. Like, there's gonna be a killer down there.
Well, and one of the first things you encounter is a voicemail message on the answering machine where somebody is just frantic, yelling, like crying, something has happened, and you're like, I don't understand what's happening or why they're so upset. And so like that is like what sets the tone for you exploring this house and trying to figure out where everybody is. So
and so yeah, like you said, like it's this love story that you don't know where it's gonna go, and like up until the end, you are like on the edge of your seat trying to figure out what's going to happen. And like it's such a beautiful game. And like I was so happy that you recommended it to me. We definitely bonded over the fact that we both cried at this game.
Yeah.
And like I can't recommend that game enough either. Like it's really good. And like it's one of those games I don't want to spoil for anybody because like it's so good, and the like ending of it, you're just like, this is fucking perfect. Like, good job.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely try Gone Home if you can. Like, it's probably really cheap somewhere. Just go get it, play it.
I mean, you could already have it for free because it's been a PS Plus game. It's been a Twitch Prime game. There's no telling how many ways you might have it. It's coming to Switch. I don't know when, but very soon it's coming to Switch. So all different ways to play it. Definitely worth it. It is so good. So.
All
right, we're getting down to it. What is number 9, Cody?
Number 9 for me is Gears of War 4.
Okay.
All right, this game is very important to me. So it was my introduction back to the series. I skipped over a game called Gears of War Judgment just because I was kind of like, like Gears of War ended for me. But Gears of War 4 made me and my brother go out and get an Xbox together, and it's an important game to me. I'm not going to spoil anything because I know you want to play it, and we maybe end up playing it together. It's an important game to me because it was the first game in almost probably like 15 years that my brother and I played through together. Like, we did not play it unless we were together. And I remember going over there and let's play until like 2 in the morning almost, I'm pretty sure. And like just experiencing this and like us both like gripping the controller, afraid at certain times that certain characters might die, and like it's not, and like we have the same plan for Gears of War 5. Like we're gonna play that together, and like it's nice to know that like my brother and I have this series to bond through.
You're not playing it with me?
I mean, I love you, Sam. We play every other game together. This is
Okay.
my brother's
Anyone
game.
out there with an Xbox, I'm looking for a buddy to play Gears of War 5 with, so, just let me know. Keep going, Cody, sorry.
All right.
Keep going.
All right. Yeah, and like such a great game. Like Gears of War games obviously are like some of my favorite, as I said earlier, about Gears of War 3. They didn't like.
Cody, you've frozen on me. I don't know if you can still hear me. Okay.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, we're back.
Okay, start over there. We finished with me being a bitch about Gears of War 5, and then you were going to say something else, so just start there where you were going to say something else.
All right. So yeah, Gears of War 4 doesn't really introduce a lot of new stuff. There is some new aspects of certain things, but the new enemy type that they introduce is really cool, and I like that it's like a variation of the Locust. It's a game that I'm always going to remember just because my brother and I did play it together throughout, and like how stupidly tactical we were for no reason. Like I'd be like, I got the guys on the right, you get the guys on the left, and like one of my favorite memories is there's this like a part where you have to like run through and like there's something happening, and I died like 5 times in a row, and he's just like making it through like casually, and I'm just like, God damn it, what's going on? And him yelling at me like jokingly, and like it was just such a fun time, and like I'll always love Gears of War 4 just for that, like just being the game we bonded over. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 9 is Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, and I've talked about this game.
About it.
Have you played it?
No, I'm just fucking with you. Go for it.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute. How
you
do I
got
not...
real excited, but also very confused. You're
I was like, how do I not know this?
Okay, go.
All right, good one. Yeah, so this is kind of in my mind the perfect open world fantasy RPG game. Because like the world is just the right size. As you're wandering around, you run into enemies just enough to keep it interesting so that it's not boring while you're walking around. You have some super fun weapons. You've got these, you can pick any kind of weapon regardless of like what class you are. So it's not like, oh, you're a soldier, you can't do magic, or oh, you're a mage, you can't like use a sword. You just pick up whatever kind of weapon you want and then you do that magic. You can pick up robes and a staff and focus on your magic, or you can get like big heavy metal armor and like a big axe and like be like a tank if you want to. And it's really fun. I guess there's a good story. I don't always remember all of the story very well because, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, whatever, I'm just playing to have fun. But there is this character named Aylin Shear, and she's like the most attractive character in video game history, pretty much, in my mind. She's like this elf, and like I spent the majority of the game not really knowing if she was a good guy or a bad guy, but I didn't care. I was going to be on her side regardless. Like whatever she wanted me to do, I would do it. So I liked her very much. And it's just a fun game. It's gorgeous. You're in this fantasy world where like plants glow different colors. You've got fairy magic. Just like, and the soundtrack's really good too. It's just a world I love being in. And like, I went back a couple months ago and played some more of it again, and I'm like, you know what, this holds up. This is still a fantastic game. I don't remember how long ago it came out, but it's still like, I would rather play this than any type of like Elder Scrolls or something like that. So I loved it. Alrighty. Cody, it's time for number 8.
So my number 8 is Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
So you probably heard me talk about it in the past couple of weeks, how like I love this game. I'm not a big Western dude, Like was never like into them. Like never watched any growing up really. Besides Wild Wild West with Will Smith. Good movie.
It's a good movie.
Not really, but I mean it's a personal favorite. Okay. Um, the story of John Marston. I did not play Red Dead Revolver. Never played it, so don't know anything about that. But the story that going on with John Marston in this game is one of my favorites. It's like going through and like reuniting with your old gang, and then having to end up they betray you, and like what you end up having to do to your old friends pretty much in that game is pretty heartbreaking. Um, and this game in general is pretty heartbreaking. Like once again, spoiler alert for a game that's super fucking old, so please skip forward like a minute. Um, John Marston like ends up returning home, and he is home for maybe like a day, and he goes outside, and the guy who sent him out to stop his old gang is there with all his buddies, and they mow down John Marston in what is like the first time I've seen the video game hero die, and I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. And like you're given the opportunity to use Deadeye against them. So like you're trying to get them all with one Deadeye shot, and like you're like, I only got 6 charges. Is this fuck? And like I thought that was where they were ending it, and I was like, these motherfuckers, they really did it. Like, oh my god. Only for like the game to like seem to end, and you come back and you're John Marston's son, and you go out for revenge. And oh my god, when I tell you I love a revenge story, I love a revenge story. And this was like the ultimate revenge story. So I went out and I brutally murdered these people. Like one dude was just in the middle of the town, and they're like, you should probably like get him away from everybody so you don't cause a scene. Nope, rode up on my horse, boom, and I made sure that fucker was dead in the streets. Cody does not play.
How much of the game do you get to play? Like, how long do you play as his son?
It's the last like hour and a half,
Okay.
really. I never got to really play the they had like a kind of like expansion almost where like it was like Undead Redemption, and like where everything was a zombie.
Okay.
I never really got to mess with that, and I wish I would have. But like I remember that game coming out, my friends and I just like freaking out about how great it was. How we would just like go for really like I wasn't even trying to like 100% the game because I played on Xbox 360, so there's no platinums.
Yeah.
It was just get trophies. But like it was just kind of like bragging rights almost to get certain trophies. So like there was a trophy to kill a black bear with just the Bowie knife. And it's you pretty much had to like swipe at the bear, dodge roll, hope it didn't hit you, Bowie knife it, dodge roll, hope it didn't hit you because the bear fucking like claws like 20 miles in front of it. I died probably like 20 times to that bear before I finally killed it. There was like some special breed of horse that was only available in the mountains at like certain times of the day, and I waited like 4 hours just so I could catch this stupid horse to get an achievement. But like I love that game, and like I know like a couple weeks back I was like, I'm not really excited for Red Dead Redemption 2. Like it's whatever, really. I really should stop saying things on podcasts because they end up becoming untrue. I'm really excited for Red Dead Redemption 2. I want to get on a horse and go do stuff. This movie made me go see a movie was called True Grit. It was and I remembered it only because our friend Andy reminded me, but also because I was like, why does the name Rooster Cockburn sound so fucking familiar? That's the name of a character in that movie. Is Rooster
I feel bad
Cockburn.
for that guy.
So, like Red Dead Redemption is just such a good like I love revenge stories, and like this was like the ultimate revenge story in a game. Like you were doing revenge stuff as John Marston, and then when he dies, it's his son. And I was like, this was amazing. Like after the credits roll, I was like, I really love this. Like, oh my god, I never could get into the multiplayer.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to try and get into the multiplayer for Red Dead 2 because it seems like it'll be a lot different. So Red Dead Redemption, super amazing game.
Nice. Alrighty, my number 8 is Titanfall 2. I never played Titanfall 1, but I got this game and I started the campaign and I just fell in love with it right away because, I like moving fast and shooting that feels good, and this game has all of that. You can run on walls, you've got like a good like double jump with some little air jets on your boots, you've got a grapple gun that you can use to like get up on high places, so you can just like zip around a map so quickly, and it's so much fun. Like, I feel like the movement is pretty much my favorite thing in this game, except like the shooting is fantastic as well. It's one of my top 2 shooters of all time, just as far as how good it feels to shoot the guns. And like, Titanfall is all about the Titans, which are these big mech suits that you get to use to like, be a powerful badass. You just step on people, you've got heavy duty guns that just mow things down. But that's probably my least favorite part of Titanfall 2, because like I'm happiest when I'm just running around outside of my mech suit, running on walls, shooting people with my gun, having fun like that. I love the multiplayer, and I still play it to this day. Like, I just jump in a match and just have fun regardless, even if I'm losing, as long as like I'm getting some kills in and having a good time, it's all right. But this campaign, it's pretty short, but it's a fantastic campaign. And you've got your mech suit who has a personality. He's an AI, and he'll talk to you about stuff, and you guys do stuff together. And there's just like really some emotional moments with this Titan. Like, this game made me cry because of something that happened with my buddy BT. That's the name of my mech suit guy, and it's just so good. Like, I didn't expect like a game like this to have something in it that would make me cry. Like, I didn't think I would get that emotionally invested in this, but it's just well crafted all around, and I'm happy that people are still playing Titanfall 2, because like I can still get into games. Sometimes it takes a while, but I desperately hope that there is going to be a Titanfall 3, because it's too much fun to let it just stop. So
Pretty sure they confirmed Titanfall 3. You would think a game that I've bought in 3 times would be on my top 25 list, but it's not.
That's okay. That just means you're a good friend. So
yeah. All right. For number 7, right?
Number 7.
My number 7 is World of Warcraft.
I knew this was coming at some point.
Yeah. Let's talk about a game that like I've returned to many times throughout the years, and I've probably lost a couple years in that world. So like I really dived deep into World of Warcraft some point in high school when the Cataclysm expansion came out. And that was when I became like a serious raider, where I did all the raids that were coming out with a guild I was in, called Uncommon Sense, because for some reason that was a funny name for us. It's pretty funny, I'll give it that. And like the friends I made in that game and the friends I've made even past it have been amazing. And it's such a rich, vibrant world where there's multiple stories that you can just like get sucked into. Like, there's the story of Arthas, who is the Lich King, and how he sacrificed his entire life so that, in an attempt to save the world from the undead. There's Illidan, who thought he was making the right choice for the woman he loved, and he became a demon. Just so many amazing stories in that game. I go back to it pretty much every expansion. I think this is like the first expansion I haven't gone back to with the Battle for Azeroth. I think I eventually will go back to it. Just right now, it's not what I need. My brother and I play it together, so it's always fun when we get to do stuff in that game. We leveled characters up together for a very long time. It's where I got my D&D character name. Ursarock is my orc shaman.
Half orc.
Well, no, Ursarock in Warcraft is an orc shaman.
Oh my god, can he be like your ancestor in our D&D campaign?
Sure. So Ursarock was made back in 2014, and I still play him. So it's been 4 years, and like, and I remember when I first started playing World of Warcraft, I thought like I had to have my name and everything. So my nickname used to be Teets because my last name is Teetrick. So uh, pretty much all my characters were Teets something. So I think my first character was a druid, and it was Teets is druid. And I was like, that's a cool name for a character. Yeah. And then eventually I was like, I should probably get a little bit more original with my names. That's where like Ursa came from.
Nice.
World of Warcraft is just so much fun. Like you can lose so much time in like world, and like man, I kind of want to go play it now, but I'm like, no, don't do it. Like you got games coming, you need to play,
Yeah.
and World of Warcraft is not what you need right now. Yeah, I love that universe, and like it's super cool to know they're still going strong, and I will always know I can go back to it and have fun in it. So World of Warcraft is definitely has a place in my heart forever.
Yeah.
For the Horde.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. My number 7 is Resogun. Now,
I'm shocked this is not higher up.
You may have heard me talk about this game previously and how much I love it, how obsessed I am with it, how I just kind of want to play it all the time. And I kind of still do just want to play it, but you know, I've taken my time away. I'm like trying to like do other things. It's fine, but that draw is still there. Like I still feel it. I have this panic that like the longer I spend away from it, I'll go back to it and I won't be as good at it anymore. Obviously, I'm not as good at it as I was when I got the platinum, because I was playing it so hard all the time, trying to get these hard difficulties done. So I was at my peak Resogun life right there. And now, like, if I tried to go back into experienced and try to like beat it, I feel like it would take like a really long time to practice harder again to get back up to where I need to be. And it's just, this game is just so fun. It's so fun, so addicting. It's got great music. The visuals are beautiful while you're flying around blowing stuff up. And it's just like a real simple game to play, hard to master on the harder difficulties, but it's just, I don't know why it's so addictive, but I love it, and I can still play it like just at any time. Anytime I can jump in there. So, I don't know. My lifelong addiction. So. All right. What is number 6?
Number 6 for me is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, which I don't think we can talk about yet.
No, we're going to have to wait for that one. But that is our 5th in common game. And I am super confident of one other that's going to be on both of our lists. So I'm feeling real good about my number 6 prediction that we have 6 games in common. So, my number 6 game is New Super Mario Brothers. Now, this was the game that came out on the Wii, and I'll say it was revolutionary because in this game, you could have 4 players playing on the screen at the same time, and it was the most amazing, beautiful chaos that there ever was. It is so much fun. I had some of the best times just playing with people, and a lot of times it was with my sister, and she's like a really good sport. You know, she'll be like, all right, yeah, let's play some games, but like she's not really into games. She doesn't care. She's not great at them, so like she'd have a lot of trouble. And so a lot of the time I would just like pick her character up and carry her, because that's something that you can do in New Super Mario Brothers. You can pick them up and carry them. But I would often accidentally like let her go or accidentally throw her at the wrong time and like throw her to her death. It was horrible. But this is just, I don't even know. They just had like a pure gem on their hands with this game. It is so much fun. You get the Yoshis. The Yoshis can eat like anything. They eat a fireball and spit back out an even bigger fireball. It's just so amazing. This game, like, if I have anyone over, like, I would play it right now. Like, I never like don't want to play that game, except like sometimes my hands will get sore because the controllers are, you know, not the most comfortable or ergonomic or whatever. But that game is just Like the absolute best New Year's Eve I ever spent was I had my sister and my friends Daniel and Holly over, and we just played New Super Mario Brothers all night long. And it was so much fun. So, I don't know. It's just a great time.
I agree with you. You described it as wonderfully beautiful chaos. I agree
Yes,
with one of those words. It is chaos.
it's true.
I've tried playing that game and I get really frustrated because people jump on your head and they knock you off the level and you die. And I stopped playing that game there.
Well, different strokes for different folks, I guess. But, all right, we are getting down to the wire. It's the top 5. Cody, what is number 5?
My number 5 is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay.
All right. Horizon Zero Dawn was my game of the year last year. There's something about a character who is like an outsider, and who has to like work to prove themselves that I just really love in stories. So Aloy being this outsider who like it's like pushed the entire game. It's just like she's not welcome in this group. Like how like it's embarrassing that we have to rely on her and stuff like that. And I love that element of it. And like Guerrilla Games made some amazing characters in this game. And like this world that they're living in is so fresh, even though it's just our world, but in the future. And I think as the story unfolds and as you learn more about what happened to this world, and like that moment where you find out everything that happened and like what's been going on, like it is just jaw dropping how great of a reveal it is. And it's another game where like I don't want to ruin what the like spoiler is. I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together and like figure it out, but like experience this game for what it is, because like the build up to it is amazing feeling. Like you're like, oh my god, like we're learning like a little bit here and a little bit there. And like the combat feels amazing. Like not only does the bow feel good, but like being sneaky and like upgrading your abilities where you can like use your staff to stab into stuff, like that feels really good. The parkour you can do, like where you're just climbing up stuff, like and getting advantage angles on certain monsters or robots, is really good. And like I really love that game. Aloy is such an amazing character. I can't wait to see where they go next with her, and I can't wait to see the future of the Horizon Zero Dawn universe. What do you think, Sam?
Yes, well, obviously, I like this game a lot. I think Aloy is fantastic, as you might guess, since I named my cat Aloy. But yeah, this game, it's so well written. Like, it's just unbelievable, every little part of it. So you've got your main Aloy story that you're following along, and all of that is great. It's very emotional. It gets you hooked. You want to know what happened. But even just the little things, like you'll be out exploring the world and you'll find just like this random data log left over from before the apocalypse happened. And it'll be some really stupid thing, like an interoffice memo where like a couple of employees are talking about something and one of them will be real snarky to the other about something. And it's just like, it cracks you up because it's just like totally random. It has no effect on your gameplay right now or what's happening right now. It's just like this perfect little snapshot of how real people were at this time in the world. And I loved finding stuff like that out in the environment and finding these stories. I think I've said previously, like one of my absolute favorite things about this game was you collect these viewpoints where you go to locations, you get them, and like when you pick them up, there's a recording where a guy is like kind of recounting something, and like you don't really know what it is because like you're picking them up out of order, but then once you get all of them, you put them together and you go into your like journal, and there's like a pretty long data entry for each one. And as you're reading through it, you realize that all of these recordings are this guy who's like writing to his mother who's passed away already, and the world is about to end, and it's just like all the things that he wants to say to her for how much, you know, she meant to him in his life. And it's just like I've never cried as hard as I cried in a video game from reading that passage right there, because it's just so well crafted. And again, this story has nothing to do with Aloy, nothing to do with what's happening right now. It's just, here are real people who are dealing with the end of the world, and it just like gets your emotions so well. So if you've played it, I highly recommend going and getting all of those viewpoints so that you can go read the story in order. Don't read any of them until you have all of them, so you can read it all together in order. But yeah, it's fantastic. The combat is just spectacular. When I first heard about this game, it was like you're fighting robot dinosaurs with a bow and arrow. And I was like, hell yeah, sign me up. And a lot of times, bow and arrows in video games can be not feeling that great. Like, it can be pretty awkward. But they've got the feel of drawing the bowstring back and letting it fly. They've got it perfect, and it feels really good to shoot that. You get different types of arrows for different situations. You got flame arrows that you can use on like ice monsters, and then you've got ice arrows that you can use on like flame monsters. You've got these corruption arrows that you can do to infect a machine and make it turn on its brethren and attack its fellow pack mates. And one thing that I just really loved about this game was, like, I started off and I had my combat down, like, the way I wanted to play. I'm like, this is how I do it. It's fine. And then, like, I would run into a machine that I couldn't beat that way. And then I'd have to learn to fight a different way in order to get through it. And it's like, wow, okay, this rope caster is amazing, actually, because I can, like, tie enemies down and then, like, take care of its buddies while it's tied down. It'll be fine. And, like, I just hadn't used it before. I was like, I don't need this. It's stupid. Until, like, you find the point where you really need it. And you're like, oh, this is amazing. And there's so many different weapons that work that way, where once you, like, figure out the proper use for it, you're like, oh, okay. You can take your blast traps and do like 15 of them right in the same spot, and then you just lure that Thunderjaw to walk across it, and it's an insta-kill. And like, those Thunderjaw battles could last like 10 or 15 minutes if you were fighting it normally with like your bows and arrows. So I love that it just like pushes you to play in a different way that you might not have thought of. The world is, the character creations and like just the scenery and everything is gorgeous. It's so well put together. The soundtrack is amazing. All of the voice acting is amazing. They do not skimp on their NPCs. Like, all the characters you encounter have a personality, and they're developed, and they feel very real, and like you care about them. So all of that is super well done. I just loved it. Again, it was my game of the year last year as well. It's just such a good game. So, yeah.
Agree on that ropecaster, because it was like second to last big boss battle you get to do. And I was like, oh, I should probably try this thing out. I've never used it. So handy. Horizon Zero Dawn also has one of the best photo modes. I took a lot of photos in that game, like just setting up cool shots that I could do, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah.
Yeah, and Horizon Zero Dawn, I say, is the first platinum that I ever actually earned. Because, like I was saying, like, a Telltale game doesn't count because I didn't have to work for it. Like, I worked for this one and got it. So yeah. Whew. Alrighty. Oh. So I just talked a lot, but now... Oh, I don't think I get to talk, because my number 5 is Overwatch. Nope. And that hits number 6 of our games that we both have. So, we'll see.
I feel like you're right on the money there.
I know.
All right, so my number 4, Friday the 13th, the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what I can say about this game that I haven't said a million times. It's upside down, but this game reignited my love for horror and reignited my love for the Friday the 13th series that I've had since I was a kid. And it's like, I pride myself on being a good Jason. Like, I pride myself on the 7 out of 8s, or 7 out of 7s and 8 out of 8s.
You're a very good Jason.
Yeah. Um, I am tremendously sad that it's not going to get any more updates. I would love to have gotten Jason X and the map for Jason X. But what's in the game, I love. I love going back to it every now and then, just playing a couple games. Um, just it's an amazing story of a game that was on Kickstarter, and they're not a very big team, and like they've done their best, and like yeah, the launch was rough, but like that game is amazing, and like we're about to get dedicated servers in there, and like it's bittersweet because like it's not getting any more updates, but it's still an amazing game, and I've loved every time I step into it. We've had amazing times in there with just me and you, or just like our friends, uh, and yeah, it made me love a series again, and I owe a lot to that game. Um, yeah, like I talk about it all the time because it's so much fun to me. Like it's such a good game. Um, I'm getting a little choked up thinking
Yeah,
about that's not
yeah,
getting updates.
it's really
Um,
sad what happened to it. So
but yeah, just it's always gonna be one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm glad I get to carry it with me forever.
yeah, yeah.
All
All
right.
right. So my number 4 is Destiny 2. So now we can talk about that one. This game, man, I loved it from the moment I first played the beta. The first intro mission was just so emotional and so well done. I've played it, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've played it. Oh no, I've played it 9 times now because I played it 3 times in the beta, 3 times on PS4, twice on PC, and once on Xbox. And every time I play it, I still get choked up because it's just like, I mean, I wasn't even super invested in Destiny 1, but like I know these characters and I care about them and like it gets to me. And just the way that the Destiny writers put this story together, the way the music swells at just the right time, the kind of pensive music when you are following the bird in the mountains by yourself. It's just it's so incredibly well crafted that it gets me every time. Um, but that's not enough to be a full game, you know. And I just love everything that has come afterwards. Like I don't have the problems that some people have had with the way Destiny 2 does stuff. Partially because like I don't remember what Destiny 1 was like, so I'm happy with what I've got. Destiny 2, like that one and Titanfall 2 are the best shooters of all time, I feel. I think Destiny 2 is probably better. I have so much fun just going in there and doing a Crucible match here or there. Just every time a new DLC comes out where I get new story, I'm super excited. I'm a little bit nervous about the new annual pass that might mean that there's not story missions coming in the future. But like this whole Solstice of Heroes event has kind of like changed my mindset on Destiny 2 because when I first saw it and saw all of the stuff that I had to do, all the grinding I had to do, I was a little pissed off and I was like, fuck you, Destiny, why you gotta make this so hard? And there were tasks that I didn't think I would be able to complete. But then, you know, what Destiny does, like they give you a month to do this, and then they're like, oh, so you're having trouble getting your super kills in Crucible. Okay, well, let's put Mayhem as the Crucible type that you can play this week. And in Mayhem, your super charges like every 10 or 15 seconds. So pretty much all you get in that is super kills. So then like once that's there, it's like, oh, I play 4 matches and I've got all the super kills in Crucible that I need. And then like there's a requirement if you want to get your masterwork where you have to get your Valor rank up to legendary. And I'm like, you gotta play a lot of Crucible matches to do that. Oh, but like they've been having double XP weekends and now they're having a triple XP weekend this weekend to help you get up there. So like they're giving you tools to get it done. And just playing this game with friends is so much fun. I play with Cody constantly. We've got our Two Guardians series, which, I mean, that's my favorite series that we've ever done because it's so much fun. We're role playing these characters and we have to stay in character. And this is never something that I thought I would want to do or like be capable of doing as long as we've done it. When Destiny first came out, when Destiny 2 was coming out, and we're like, man, we want to do a series. And people were like, well, everyone's going to be doing a Destiny 2 series. Are you really going to do something like worthwhile? And we're like, what can we do? Because, we're going to play it. We want to do it. So we just decided to do this. I think maybe we joked about it at first, but then we're like, no, yeah, let's do it. And it's just so much fun to get into character and like not know what you're gonna say, and then like something cracks me up and I'm like, okay, gotta not laugh too much though, gotta do my fake giz laugh. But it's just like the most fun that I ever have. I go back and watch our Two Guardians episodes and I'm just like, God, like probably nobody else enjoys this as much as we do, but like it's just one of my favorite things. Probably not.
You were saying that, and the first season of Two Guardians, where we got to Titan and there was a jumping part and you were on your warlock still and you kept falling, and I think you fell like 20 times, and like I remember laughing so hard I was biting my tongue trying not to laugh, but I was still stifling, so I had to turn the mic off and I was just cackling. And you were like, you should probably just go on without me. And like in character, Red would not do that. So I was like, no, like it's fine. Like, and I'm like still like laughing. Like, I joined Destiny 1 at the very tail end. So like I'm with you on the whole like.
Yeah.
When we hopped over, like I didn't have as many problems. Like it sucked that like I felt like I didn't have content eventually to do in between, Curse of Osiris and the original release. But like. Warmind I feel is amazing because Warmind introduced so much stuff to do, and like this lead up to Forsaken has introduced so much for us to do together. Still one of my favorite times is when we got the people together and like we tried to do a raid, and it took us like 4 hours to do one part of the raid, but it was fun for me because like it was just we were there with friends. I know you probably hated it.
It was fun for a while until I reached my limit and I was like, oh my god, I want to leave, but I don't want to let the team down. This is horrible.
Story time for a quick second. So I was having raiding 101 where I was helping people get through the raid because I had done it a couple times and I was like, I can help people get through the raid. So we were doing the dogs in Leviathan, and like it's one of the more challenging ones just because you have to like get a good rotation of flowers to get the power up. And like we were just having a rough go of it, and like we kept dying. It took like 4 hours, but every couple seconds I would just stop and be like, Cody's rating lesson 101. When you get really angry, just turn your mic off and yell fuck a lot. It really helps. And like I would just come up with stupid stuff. Yeah. And like after 4 hours we only killed one boss, technically. I was happy with that. I was like, whatever. And like
well, and shout out to our raiding buddies, because like it was you and me, and then we had Megs and Byron, and then Alejandro and Eric. And like everybody was so nice and just so wonderful, because like you're like, ooh, toxic gamers getting mad about stuff, and like we didn't have that at all, and we died so many times in the dog section, and like you would think people would be getting mad and be like, why did you die, you screwed us up, but like every time like sometimes it would be someone's fault and they'd be like, oh man, I'm sorry, that was my fault, and everybody would be like, oh man, it's cool, it's no problem, it happens, because like the next time it would be someone else who died and caused it, and everybody was just so supportive and so friendly about it. So it was like the greatest group to be with. But yeah, no, I had like a little panic attack. So I'm like, oh my god, I need to stop, but I don't want to break up the group. I feel horrible right now. But yeah, I was like afraid. I was like never going to play Destiny again after that. But then things calmed down. And we're going to try that raid again. Now that we're super overpowered for the first raid, I'm ready to go back in and try it again. So.
Yeah, like we're almost to Forsaken and I am so excited. Like, I wish I could have ranked Destiny 2 higher, but like there's just these games that I have a very like a passion for.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for Forsaken. I'm so excited to dive in. I just finished doing all 3 of my characters' Solstice of Heroes armor, just so I could get a stupid fucking ship that I talked shit about like 2 weeks back. Um, but I love the world of Destiny. I'm so excited to get in there and see what's new. And like, Two Guardians has been it's also one of my favorites. Um, like, just the stupid planning we come up with, like season 2 being about how like we despise each other over a stupid thing and how we have to become friends again in order to stop the Vex, and like just the weird planning we go into it. Like I could recommend any of our series. It would definitely be Two Guardians, just
Yeah.
because we do have 3 seasons of it. And I'm excited for what we have planned for season 4.
Yeah, it'll be great.
But yeah.
But yeah, so like, and like I was like, oh, I'm done with the content. Like, what else is there for me to do? And then Solstice of Heroes taught me that I haven't been doing adventures. There's like tons of adventures around, and they're like little story missions, and they have like a fun little story to them. I'm like, why haven't I been playing adventures? These are fantastic. So now, like, I have something else to do, to go back and do all of that. And we've got our Geek Guardians that we play with on PS4, but then now I got it on PC because my friend Jessica from Bitch Team Alpha, she only has a PC, so I could never play any games with her. And so when Humble Bundle, I know, she needs to get a PS4. When Humble Bundle had Destiny 2 for $12, I was like, hey, if you think you might like this, I'll get it with you and we can play it. And so she got it, and like, she fucking loves Destiny 2. So we've been playing a ton of that. So like, I just keep bouncing back and forth between like PS4 and PC and playing stuff. And there's just like so much for me to do, and I love it. And like, I don't know, I can't get enough of Destiny. Like, I thought Solstice of Heroes was going to piss me off and I wouldn't want to do all the work. But now I'm like, okay, but I want to, like, now I'm going to get some masterwork. And like, maybe I can get a second masterwork on a piece. So like, I don't know. We'll see how many of these legendary armor pieces I can masterwork. I think it'll be 2. Because like, I don't know about these prestige raids and stuff like that. That's going to be too hard. And also, like, I've just... playing through Destiny 2, in all of my time with it, I've become a better gamer, and like I can see that as I'm playing, because like used to be the Destiny's 2 story missions, like I would not be able to play them by myself. Like I'd reach a point and I would just keep dying and I would get really frustrated and I'd have to stop. And like now, like I can go through stuff and do it by myself. And like I was just doing a meditation the other day and I'm like, oh, this mission, I remember when I tried to do this by myself previously and got so mad because I couldn't. And now I'm like doing it pretty easily. I mean, also I'm a much higher power level, but still, like I know how to play smarter. So it's just like, I love that this is a game where I can see that I've grown. And I don't know. I can't get enough of it. I love it. And I hope it continues to bring us really great content for a very long time. When Destiny 3 rolls around, I am excited because at the beginning of Destiny 2, it would have this little slideshow and it's like, here are all the things you did in Destiny 1 with your previous character if you brought it over. And here is the date that you did it and the friends that you did it with. And I didn't have any friends that I did stuff with in Destiny 1. And like, I didn't even know that was a thing until I was talking about it later with other people. And they're like, yeah, it shows your friends. And then I just felt real lonely after that. So with Destiny 2, like all the major stuff, like we've been sure to like play with friends when you're like finishing something for the first time. And so just so when Destiny 3 pops around, we'll be able to see who we did stuff with and remember, yeah, I was with my buddies there. We did this together. And just like the tagline of Destiny is like, I don't know what it is, but it always is like this is your destiny, like this is your story. And it's just like, they do a great job of making you feel like that. So I love it. It's great. So, all right.
Agreed.
That was a lot about Destiny 2. I guess we really like it. All right, we're on to number 3. Let's go.
How very fitting that number 3 is Halo 3 for me. Halo 3 is the game that made me feel like I am a gamer. I got an Xbox 360 just for it, because my brother got tired of me using his all the time. and I made so many amazing friends that game. I was part of a clan called Team Method in Halo 3. Um, it's the first esport I ever watched. It was Halo 3. I was a diehard uh, Team Instinct fan, and I just that game will always hold a very special place in my heart. Um, if they could remaster it, like how they try to do with the Master Chief Collection, but actually make it good,
Oh, snap.
and people came back to that game, I would go back to it in a heartbeat. Uh, it's the campaign was amazing. The multiplayer was outstanding. It is like the pinnacle for shooters for me. Uh, just it's it's the reason I eventually went to Destiny was because I trusted
Mhm.
Bungie. And granted, they're two different eras of Bungie, but like it's a game that changed my life forever because it made me a gamer, and I owe a lot to Halo 3. Like I would not be here if not for that game, and so I'm always gonna be happy that the Master Chief is my friend.
There he is. He's holding up a little Funko Pop of Master Chief.
Yeah, for you
Nice.
audio listeners. So yeah, Halo 3, an amazing game. I'm very happy that's in
Is
my life.
is Halo 3 the one that I played and didn't care for?
I can't remember.
I
I think
played
so.
one of them.
You played one of them, and you were like, I don't like it. And I was like,
That was the end
but
of our
anyways,
friendship.
yeah, we
We're
don't
not
talk
friends
anymore.
anymore. We're just colleagues. We started this so we
We're
figured
just
we'd stick it
colleagues, yeah.
out. But yeah.
Ugh.
All right. My number 3 is butterfly soup. Cody, do you know what butterfly soup is? Never heard of this game before, have you?
No, I haven't.
This is a visual novel. It's
Uh-huh.
a, it's about 4 Asian American teenage women
Oh,
who,
really?
yeah, and they're like just coming of age and finding out about their sexuality, and
That's pretty cool.
it's fantastic. It's got such, I know, because I've given Cody so much shit for like forever because I've told him to play it and he still never played it. It's fine. It's okay. I know he would love it, but it's fine. Um, I've talked about this a lot previously. It's such a good game. The characters are great. The story is fun. It's one of those fun and frisky, like I like to say. Um, but I just love seeing like a representation of lesbian, bisexual, whatever, queer, like teenage girls coming of age. Because, like, that's like my story in high school, you know? Like, I can see similarities from my life in this. And it's great to see that represented. It always gives you a little bit of nostalgia for like your own life. And again, like, it's just so much fun. These characters, like, I would want to hang out and like play video games or play board games with these characters and just have a good time. Um, it's a free game on itch.io. It's called Butterfly Soup. If you have any interest, I mean, it's only like a couple hours to get through it. So I mean, why not? You know, really, it's worth it. It's a
Yeah, why
good game.
not?
I love it. It's so sweet. I recommend it. What can I say that I haven't said already? Alrighty. We are getting down to it. Number 2, Cody.
Uh, so my number 2 game, as much as I credit Halo 3 for where I am today, um, had Overwatch not come out, I would definitely not be where I am today without it. Um,
Neither of us would be.
yeah. Through Overwatch is how I met Sam. Um, and through Overwatch is how I started making video content with Talking Games. Um, and like this game is amazing in so many ways, like diverse characters, how fun it is to play each character, uh, just the story that Overwatch has built in such a little time, and like everything it's done, and like all the friendships I've made through this game, and all the videos I've made with this game. Like I had a series where I just talked about characters and how good they were. I had a series where I played through competitive. Um, Overwatch changed my life, and I'll always be grateful to Blizzard for it. I would not cry here. I would not be friends with Sam if not for this game,
Yep.
and I treasure our friendship so much. Um, fuck.
It's okay. It's alright. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about this? How like when we first became friends, and like we would play online together, and then I'll see like you play with the broken thumbsticks guys, and like I was just like, yeah, no, it's cool. It's like he hangs out with me, had to have something to do until his real friends like come online, you know? And then it was just like this monumental moment the day that I finally realized and felt like, oh, no, he's playing with me because like he likes me, because like we're friends. It's not just like something to do until he goes to his other friends, like we're the friends. And I was just like, oh my god, that moment made my heart swell so big. But yeah, it just like we just grew together playing Overwatch in the evenings, you know? And it was just like, I don't know. It's just so weird how you kind of casually make friends with someone, because we were playing together on with Talking Games one day.
Was
I don't
the
know.
extra
It
their
was
extra
Extra
live
Life.
stream?
Yeah. And like that was like my first time to ever actually play with strangers online, and I was super nervous about it. And like we didn't know anything about each other, and like this will sound weird, okay? But like I kind of have this belief that sometimes your soul just like knows when another like soul is out there, and like you get to be friends with the people who later you find out like, yeah, we have all this in common, we're super compatible. Like it's just like it makes sense that we're there's this good of friends. But like when you first are drawn to that person, like you don't see that. You're just like, yeah, this is just something, you know, hey, it's a new person that I've met, whatever. But it's like there's something in the background like guiding you to the people that you need in your life. And like I kind of feel like that's what happened with us. Because like all the things, like as we get to know each other better and better over the years, I'm like, yeah, that's like, it's like perfect that we're friends this way. And like so many times we'll just like one of us will message the other person and be like, oh, I was just writing that exact same message to you. Or like we're posting things and we're posting the exact same thing. It's like we're really in sync. Sometimes we're not, but sometimes we are. And it's just like, man, I don't know. We're lucky that we found each other. And okay, we're getting a little off course, getting real emotional about us.
So
But I mean, this is about Overwatch that brought us
yeah.
together. So let's talk about how
Um,
great Overwatch is, just in general, aside from everything else, because you know it's a good game in its own right.
yeah.
It's very welcoming to different types of gamers. Like you don't have to be a like hardcore first person shooter to come play and have fun in Overwatch. It's got different characters who play different ways to make it easy for people to jump in there. And I mean, there's a learning curve. Like I didn't like Overwatch when I first played it. It took me a while to get used to it and find characters that I could have fun playing as. But once I did, like I just got hooked. And like I'll be away from Overwatch for a very long time. Like it'll be months that I haven't played Overwatch. And then I come back and it's always like coming home. It's like, yep, this is the spot for me. This is a good time that I always know is waiting for me. And it's just like the background stories, the cinematics, the comics that they make for this game are just so good. Like this isn't a game where you get the story very much in game. It's all kind of out of the game, but they put such care into it and making it something deep and impactful that it just, man, everything, again, this is a game where like everything they do is just top notch. Like they invest everything they can to make it a fun experience for everyone. Cody, what else do you want to say?
Yeah, like I remember like when this was announced at BlizzCon and just like instantly falling in love with the art style and like the characters and like slowly learning more and more and like seeing alpha footage and be like, this is my game. Like I know this is gonna be a game I love. And so when it came out, like I was all in. Like I was like, "Yep, this is Overwatch." And like same year it came out, my house flooded uh August of that year. And when I did get to play video games during that time, like Overwatch was that game, and like Overwatch got me through a lot of stuff. Um, and like during like the rebuilding of my house, like Overwatch was there for me to play, and like my proudest moment was staying up until like 3 in the morning one time and hitting masters in competitive Overwatch. And like it's not even the highest level like Grandmasters is, but like on PS4, like it's so hard to get up there without using keyboard and mouse. So like I was incredibly proud that like I got 2 masters. Like it's one of my like shining moments in video game history. And like every character they introduce feels fresh and like really cool. And like it's amazing to learn more about these characters. Like the cinematic that came out last year for Reinhardt, and Reinhardt is my favorite character. Like he is just big German fucking tank, and like I love him. um, and like that cinematic, like when I say I get the goosebumps a lot, when the entire trailer is giving me goosebumps, there's something going on.
Yeah.
I love that trailer so much, and I can't wait to see what they announce this year. There's a lot of stuff being rumored, and I'm excited for it. So yeah.
Yeah. And just also, they've got Overwatch League now, which is what has gotten me into esports. And actually, Overwatch League is what pulled me back into Overwatch after I had been away for a very long time. So it's just like, I love that there is good stuff happening around this game. And hopefully, it's going to continue for a very long time because it's great. So, alrighty. My number 2 is Hellblade. Now, when we talk about Hellblade, I think I'm gonna have to spoil it to really get into what all it means to me. Like,
I
and
think we've done a good
I'll,
job of not spoiling certain games. So
yeah, but this one I don't know. I don't think I can. So I'll put in the show notes like where to skip to so that you don't have to listen to any of it. Because this is a game where you really don't want to be spoiled. You want to just go in and play it and all right, we can talk a little bit before we get to spoilers. Okay. Like I had kind of heard about this game, but I was like, oh, I don't know. I heard there was something about permadeath, and I was like, oh, that seems horrible, not for me. But then I watched a gameplay video of it, like one morning before work. I don't know why I did that. But like I immediately got obsessed with it. I was like, this looks amazing, and like all day at work, like I couldn't wait to play it. I think I might have bought it while I was at work and like started downloading on my computer because like I just couldn't wait. And I got home and I was so excited because it was actually like a dark, stormy night out at my house. And then I got to play this game, which is super creepy. And you play with the headphones, you've got the voices in your head, and it just sets the mood so well. It's a gorgeous game, like video and audio, and the gameplay, the combat gameplay, where you've got your sword and you're like dodging and you're parrying, and it feels amazing. It makes you feel like you're good at combat video games, which I'm usually not. And then this game, if you've got the setting on it, it'll do this thing where it scales the difficulty like based on how you're playing. So like if you're doing really well, it'll like start to make it harder for you. But then if you're having problems, it'll kind of scale it back a little bit, which is awesome because like then you don't have to think about it and switch it back and forth. There's no HUD on the screen, so it's like completely clear. It's more of an experience than a game, and it just deals with some really important issues. So Cody, do you want to say anything before we get into spoilers?
I don't know if let's just go to spoilers if like my stuff could possibly be spoilery.
Okay, so we're spoiling now, so check your show notes to see where to skip to.
So like you gifted me this game and I'd heard so much good things about it, and so I was super excited to get into it. So like when it's starting, it's like telling you like, hey, you want to play with headphones on, like we've consulted psychiatrists and stuff about this stuff, like this is going to be an experience. as someone who has suffered from depression for a very long time, someone who's thought about killing themselves most of their life, this game just fucking hit me in the heart so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Senua is dealing with psychosis and hearing voices, and like uh you're dealing with this throughout the entire game, and like sometimes the voices are helpful, but sometimes they're just nasty, evil things to you. And like your journey through Helheim, pretty much to recover your lover's soul, is such a beautiful story, and the growth you see Senua go through is amazing, and like it gives you hope in a sense because it is her battling her demons in what is psychosis, and like it gives you hope that like if you're someone suffering from depression, like you can beat the demons and you can beat hell pretty much, and you'll make it out. And like I remember just getting to the end of this game and just bawling my eyes out.
Mm-hmm.
Hellblade is a game that I don't think we'll get for a very long time again, mainly because it's not Xbox exclusive, or Ninja Theory is. But it is a wonder, and you need to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so emotional, and the combat does, like I agree with Sam, the combat feels amazing. And like it's the only game I've ever like gone and looked up stuff about afterwards, and
Mm-hmm.
like there's a video out there if you really want a good cry.
Yeah.
It is people who wrote letters to Ninja Theory thanking them for finally showing what they're going through, and like fuck, does it fuck you up inside?
Yeah, and like people
um
are talking about how like maybe their family member has never been able to relate to them and what they're going through, and this game like helped them understand and do that. It's that video is, oh man, you'll definitely cry watching that video even if you haven't played the game. Um but yeah, so what really gets me in this game, so like there's the psychosis, depression, but like I feel that it also addresses really well issues of grief and guilt and just worry. And as you're going through, you learn about Senua and that she has something called the darkness inside of her, and like that is her curse. That is like her father like locks her in a closet because like he doesn't want her darkness to like take over. And it's just, I mean, there's it's horrible. But like as you're going, like you're fighting the first battle that you're in, you fight these guys, and then towards the end of the battle, they turn into like smoke, and like they can attack you, but you can't hit them, you can't do anything, you can't defeat these guys, and you end up dying. And this is where the game tells you, hey, the blackness, when you die, it spreads throughout your body. So it starts as like a black thing on your hand, and like every time you die it's going to increase and like move up your arm, and if you die enough that it reaches your head, like that's it for Senua. Her journey's over and you won't be able to continue. And so that like that's the thing where it's like, here's your permadeath, you're not gonna make it. And like the really important thing here is, this is like the big spoiler alert, I don't know, but there's not really permadeath. You can die as many times as you want, and that's not the end of the game. You're not going to lose your saves. It's just fine. Like I'd read an article that's like, no, there's no permadeath. It's a fake. But still, when I got to that point in the game and saw that, I was like, that article was wrong. There's really permadeath. I'm like, oh my god. But then like I kept dying, and like I would see like the rot would be like up to her elbow, and I'm like, oh god, it's gonna keep going. And then like the cinematic would have it be down low and it would come up to her elbow again. It's like, oh, the game is progressing as the game wants to progress. It's not gonna let the rot spread any further than the storyline wants it to be at that time. And so like there's a certain voice in your head that's a woman who's kind of more of a main narrator versus the other like psychosis voices that are just saying random stuff. And like the thing that really got me was like once I finally it was after the first playthrough, I stopped and was like, okay, she's saying this stuff, and it's about Senua's life and about the game. But also, she is talking to me directly as the player and telling me things that are important to my life and important for me to think about. And like one of the things that they say, I think multiple times, is like the most difficult battles are the ones that you fight in your mind. And so, like, Senua blames herself for her lover's death and for the destruction of her village because she had left to try to prevent the darkness from taking over. And while she was gone, the Northmen attacked and killed everybody. So she's dealing with this grief. And like what this game for me was trying to tell me was, you know, like, your grief can take over who you are. Like, your grief, your depression, your guilt, whatever, that is like the darkness that's inside you. And it will consume you if you don't recognize it for what it is and say, no, that's just one thing that's happened, but it's not who I am and it's not my life. Like, you have to like take charge of yourself. And so you go through all of this, all these trials, to get to the end where you're standing up to Hela, the god of the underworld, who has your lover's soul, and you are trying to get it back. And you have this massive battle, and like pretty much every time you kill an enemy, like 2 more will spawn, and like you cannot make any progress in this battle. And like I was going forever, and I'm like, God, this is never gonna end. How am I gonna get through this? And like then I started listening to the voices in my head, and they're saying, just stop, you have to give up. And so eventually you just stop fighting and you let yourself get killed, whatever. And that's really when you find out, like, there were never any, oh my God, I'm so emotional. Oh, there were never any enemies. Like, all of this has been Senua punishing herself for what she felt. So like every battle that you fought was just her punishing herself. And like, this is about forgiving yourself and letting go of all that. And that's what really got me, and obviously still gets me to this day, just talking about it. But like, it was just so powerful, because like, that is something that I do all the time. I get stuck in my head, and like, I'll start getting angry or start getting sad about something that isn't really real. It's just something that I've imagined. What if this happened? And like, I'll be driving to work thinking about something. Like, this used to happen a lot when Gizmo was still alive but not doing well. Like, constantly I'd be driving to work thinking about him and thinking about something bad that would happen to him, and I would just start crying. And I'd be like, no, he's alive and he is fine right now. Why am I worrying about something that's not happening right now? And it's just these painful thoughts that get in your head, the darkness that tries to take over, and you just have to recognize that this isn't a real thing. It's just something, it's a fear, it's a guilt, whatever, that's trying to take over, and you have to recognize it for what it is and be able to let go and move on. And so it was just a super impactful full game for me. And I mean, it kind of helped me realize that like, I've been dealing with grief for like a really long time in my life, but like never recognized it. Cause like, you grieve when somebody dies. But like, I was finding out that you can grieve for quite a while before somebody dies. Like, my grandmother had a stroke 10 years previous, and like, she just deteriorated over that time. She got dementia. It was just like one thing after another. She was not able to care for herself at all. And it just like, all of that, there were years that like, I feel the whole family was grieving, because really, even though she was still there, like, we had lost her. We had lost the person that she was. And like, recognizing that that was something that had been there that whole time, it was just like a really powerful thing. And this game just really helped me see that we all have the possibility for a darkness to take over, whether it's depression, whether it's guilt, whether it's grief, whether it's just fear of things that might happen. And we just have to recognize that, like, oh, when I'm having a bad feeling, that's not something that's true. It's just a feeling that I have that I need to like recognize and say, no, you're not real. I don't know. It just gets me. And it's amazing that a game can have that effect on a person. So, whew. That was rough.
Yeah.
Cody, you've frozen on me.
And
Wait,
you are...
Cody, you froze on me. I need you to
Okay.
start over.
Okay. Hellblade is an amazing game, and it addresses mental health in an amazing way. So if you are someone like us who is going through something, definitely play it, and hopefully it affects you like it's affected us. Like, it's one of my favorite games of all time, and it always will be. And I always will be grateful to Sam for gifting it to me that one time. And such a good game.
Yeah.
All right.
Now
we got through it.
We got through it. Hopefully we can move on to some lighter subjects with our number one games. There'll just be something happy and carefree. So.
All right.
Hit me with that number one.
I called it earlier this year. God of War is my favorite game of all time.
No.
I'm be quick about it because you've heard me rant and rave about this all the time. God of War was a series that created a character that I loved, and God of War that came out this year took that character and made me love them even more, and then introduced a new character that I love. Kratos and Atreus are two characters that, for all purposes, shouldn't work, but they do because of how well the story is written. The combat in God of War is amazing. Definitely an upgrade from the hack and slash of the original 3.
It's light years away from that.
Yeah. Just every story beat in that game feels like it has a purpose, and every shock that comes, like when you find out who the stranger is, when you find out who the witch is, like it's all building upon this world, and like I'm so excited to see where they take this story. And like the ending, I remember it just being like 4 a.m, and they drop that last big shocking bomb on you, and I'm just like,
oh my god, Cody, literally the screen just froze while you were making that shocked face.
Over. Oh, lost you again.
I'm back now. Okay.
Where did you lose me?
When you said that ending and it just shocked you, and then you made your shocked face and it froze on your shocked face.
So when the ending, they dropped that last big bomb on you, I jumped out my chair and was just like, what's going on? What? Yeah. And then like when you return to the house after all the story stuff is done and this big thing happens to tease you for the next game, I was like, I'm so ready. Please don't be another like 4 fucking years.
Yeah.
Kratos is a character I love to death. Like how he has grown as a character, even more than he had in the original 3, is amazing. I think Atreus is the perfect sidekick to him, and I can't wait to see where that character ends up in later games. And just I love the world that we're in now with Kratos, and I can't wait to experience more. God of War is breathtaking and magical, and it's my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, I think I've said previously, I believe that God of War is probably the best made game of all time. Everything that they put into it, it is so gorgeous, like unbelievable. The writing is great, the music is great, and I mean the combat is just, it blows me away how good it is. It was so much fun learning the different skills, just the things that you can do with enemies. Like sometimes you'd have an enemy get thrown at you from another enemy, like it was just like crazy. the stuff you could do where you would like parry with your shield and like send stuff back at enemies, I mean, it really made you feel like you were a god fighting over here. And like, this is probably one of the rarest occasions where like I saw a trailer for God of War, a few months before it was coming out, and just like based on that trailer, I was like, I know exactly what this game is going to be like and exactly how good it's going to be. And then I played it, and it was exactly met my expectations. I was like, yes, I knew that this was going to be as fantastic as it was. And it's like so rare that a game lives up to what you expect like that. But they just did an outstanding job with it and making you care about this character who was an asshole previously, and like, I don't know, why would I care about this guy, you know? Okay, whatever, fine. I only played a little bit.
Disagree.
Okay, hard disagree. That's fine. But he wasn't necessarily the most likable character. He did some pretty bad things. And it just like the style of the previous games, again, I didn't play them, but I heard there was like weird stuff, weird sex stuff that you would see on screen, and just like, I don't know.
It was definitely the bro era of video games, I guess.
Yes.
So yeah.
And like this game, like it has matured. It has grown into like its superior form. Like if it was a Pokemon, it has evolved to its final whatever. Okay. You like that? There we go.
Yeah, that was good. Good job.
But yeah, it's just a great game. Like, I mean, it would be higher on my list, but like just the emotional parts of it didn't get me as much as some other stuff did in a more personal way. But I mean, I agree. It's a fantastic game, possibly the greatest game ever made. So, yeah.
There's still times when I Google certain scenes and watch them on YouTube just because they're so good and how well they hit. So
yeah, some of the surprises were just like blew me away. And the funny thing is, Cody, the real funny thing here, if you played Hellblade previously and you paid attention at the lore stones where it was talking about Norse mythology, you would have had a completely different mindset going into God of War, because you would have been like, oh, as soon as you found out who someone was, you'd be like, oh, I know who that is. I know what this is about. I know what this is going to be. Because I was just recently playing some more Hellblade, and I'm like, oh, they're talking about all these characters that show up in God of War. Like, I could have had a heads up, but I apparently wasn't paying attention the first time I played Hellblade, or didn't remember it by the time I got to God of War, because it was all surprising and new. And that's fantastic, because it's great to be surprised in a game and have it go someplace you didn't expect at all. But yeah, I'm excited for the next game in the series, because I think it will continue to be outstanding. So.
Hell yeah.
All right, so we're ending with my number one game of all time. And it should be no surprise that it's Resident Evil 4. Of course. I've said this many times. I mean, what do you expect?
I was like, I don't know what her number one game is, and I didn't even think about it. Okay.
Of course, that's what it is. So we just went from talking about probably the best game ever made to a game that's got some problems. I mean, it's older. The controls are horrible. Like, I can't even play it anymore because I just hate so much that like I have to use square to shoot my gun when I should be using a trigger. But anyway, it's just a fantastic game, if you put that aside. I've talked about how I started playing it on Wii, and it was my first real experience getting into this type of game, and just like getting through it was so exciting for me, and like it opened a whole new world of games to me. And of course, I just love Resident Evil. I love Leon Kennedy. He's a great character to play as. I love that this is set in Spain, and like I guess they're kind of zombies, but they're like not super zombies. They're infected with Las Plagas. But like they would just like yell stuff in Spanish at you, and like I just love it. And it's so much fun. Just It's just one of those games where you play it in the right time of your life and it sticks with you and you'll always love it no matter what, for all its faults. So that's it for me. Resident Evil 4. What are you going to do? Please remaster it, Capcom. Please. I beg you. All right.
We did it.
Woohoo!
40-ish games because of the crossovers.
We had 6 in common, so 40.
You nailed it.
I know.
Right on the money.
I know, man. See, I mean, you
got me with that fucking logo and Oregon Trail. I really didn't expect those.
I know. You just, sometimes I go crazy.
This is a really long episode.
It's super long. I'm surprised we haven't had to have a bathroom break, but that's all right.
I've just been pooping in my pants, to be honest with you. Anything for the content, guys. Anything for the content, all right?
Hey, man. All right. Wow. That was a lot of really awesome games. I think we have some good stuff there. Hopefully, maybe you guys have heard of a game that you didn't know about before and you're intrigued and you're like, hey, I should go check that game out. That sounds amazing. And I would say you should, because we have really good taste. So,
hell yeah.
So yeah, it's a long episode. Thanks for sticking with us. Thank you for being here for episode 25. I mean, I know we've got people who've been with us from the get-go. We've got people who have jumped on along the way, and we're just thankful for all of you. We love having people. We love hearing from the community and like getting feedback on stuff, on our questions, getting questions from you. I think we're just happy to be here doing this. I mean, I've said before, like, no matter what's going on, even when I'm having a horrible day and I'm in the crappiest of moods, like, as soon as we get together and start recording, I start having a good time. It's like, no matter, without fail. So, I'm happy that we get to do this and that like people are interested in hearing us talk. So it makes it all right, because we'd be doing it regardless because it's just fun for us. But it's just like truly an honor that we have people who are there for us. So, Cody, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, thank you guys so much. When Sam and I left previous ventures, you froze on me again.
Oh, sorry. Here I am. I'm here. Am I back yet? Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. I mean, we're perfectly in sync for this. If only we could hear each other. Okay. Obviously, you can see me if we're doing this.
Sam?
Was I seriously frozen that whole time? Can you hear me? I can hear you. Are you fucking with me right now? Cody? Can you seriously not hear me? Cody? Cody?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yay, we're back.
Seriously, were you just fucking with me that whole time?
No, like, you were just like, for like a very long time, I was like, hello?
Well, because we were doing wax on, wax off, and we were perfectly in sync, so I was like, no, you can see me. Okay.
Okay. As I was saying...
Start over with what you want to say here.
Thank you guys so much. When Sam and I left previous ventures to explore our own stuff, wasn't sure where we would go and how long it would go, and so saying, hey, we've done 25 episodes, feels like a real accomplishment, and I can't wait to get to 100. I appreciate anybody who has supported us along the way. If you're still listening after 3 hours of us talking about video games, I greatly appreciate you. You guys make it all worth it, and thank you to our community for everything.
Yeah, and a special shout out to everybody who's in our Discord. You guys are amazing. You brighten my day like every day. I love being away for a while, coming back and seeing just like a flurry of messages you guys have had of just random stuff.
Real random.
Yeah, Cody came back the other day and found we'd just been talking about poop. So, what are you gonna do? I don't know.
That was a thing.
But you guys are great. We love you. Thank you so much for being there for us. So, all right. 25 down. Here's to another 25. And then like 50 after that. And probably like, a couple hundred after that. Until,
Right.
We'll see how it goes. So, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go through the basics here. If you want to get in touch with us, send us some listener questions. We always love listener questions. That's at contact@geekheartgames.com. We're on Twitter and Facebook at geekheartgames. Our YouTube videos, where you can see 3 seasons of Two Guardians, is over at geekheartgames.com/YouTube. If you want to watch our live streams, well, we're going to need to do some more live streams. We haven't been streaming lately. We need to get on that at some point, apparently. But that'd be over at twitch.tv.
One of us is about to be out of work for 6 months, so we'll get to that eventually.
Yes. Cody may be streaming quite a bit in the future as he recovers from things. But that would be at twitch.tv/geekheartgames. You can hit the little heart to follow, and then you'll get notified when we do go live. You can join our Discord and have real fun discussions about all kinds of things. It's not just poop. That was just a one-time thing, I promise. That's at geekheartgames.com/Discord. And if you would like to buy a fun Geek Heart Games t-shirt, you can go to geekheartgames.com/shirts. Or shirt. Either one works. It's fine. So, I am at SKSUVAK on Twitter. Cody?
I am at Comic Book Cody.
Yeah. Once again, thank you so much to everyone who's listening, who's been sticking with us. Hope you've had a good time, and we will continue to try to bring you as much fun as possible in the future. Cody, take it away.
We're just two geeks who heart a lot of games. Do. Thank you.
Nice. Real good.
Thank you.
So I was just saying that I could see you've got this line that goes right here.
Yeah. There's like, I don't know. It's like similar to like, I don't grow hair right here in my mustache, and then it goes like straight down. And I feel like,
I mean,
I don't know. There's something wrong with me, Sam.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's clear evidence that you're a pod person, and that's where your fake human skin like peels aside. That's like your seam.
Well, Sam, this is where we have to say our goodbyes, and I will be flying up there to murder you.
What, you're gonna murder me?
You found out my secret.
I'm an assimilator. Like, I'd help the aliens.
Oh, you'd help? Okay, cool.
If they'll take care of me, you know. But, I mean, can you take off your human skin and let me see your alien face?
What would you do if I really just, like, fucking just ripped and just, like, some creepy alien face popped out?
I don't know what I'd do. I'd be flipping out, but I'd want to be playing it cool because if you really were an alien, I would want you to still like me and be friends because I wouldn't want to get killed by the aliens. I would.
Good point.
I mean, I really would need to sell out humanity to be able to stay alive in the alien invasion. So.
Speaking of aliens,
okay.
Do you ever remember something like a food that you had a very long time ago and you remember it and you're like, man, what a weird thing? So this ties into the alien thing. Just give me like a couple seconds.
That time you ate an alien? Yeah, okay, I get it.
Okay. So Burger King used to have a partnership with Teletubbies.
Okay.
Do you remember Teletubbies? Oh, you remember Teletubbies,
I
right?
have a Teletubby. I have Tinky Winky.
So they had a partnership, and in Teletubbies, they had this like pink custard thing. Well, Burger King sold pink pudding. And Sam, it was fucking delicious. I remember eating so much pink pudding, I got sick. This ties into the alien thing because I'm pretty sure Teletubbies are aliens.
Yeah, I think so.
And today I was driving home, and I got the taste in my mouth of the pudding. Just randomly. Yeah. And I was like, fuck. Now I gotta go home and Google how to make pink pudding. Because I need it.
I mean,
I haven't Googled yet.
I'm pretty sure that it's just like some regular pudding, but with like pink food coloring in it, probably.
Like what kind of pudding though? Because
what did it taste like?
I've had vanilla pudding. And it didn't taste like vanilla pudding. It was like special. I don't know what tapioca. What does tapioca taste like?
No. It's like
okay.
I don't think so. It's not pink. It's like I think it's kind of chunky and has weird texture things.
No,
in
I'm
it,
with
maybe?
you on the whole. Yeah, you're right. I'm with you on the whole. It's just pink food coloring. I just want to know what the other, like, is it a berry pudding? Like, I don't know.
Could
I
it
gotta
have been
find
like
out.
a banana pudding?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I've never had banana pudding, so I wouldn't.
What?
Wait. Yes, I have. Because a lady at my work used to make it. And she used to have the
The vanilla
wafers on
wafers?
the
Yeah.
side.
Oh,
You could
yeah.
kind of,
That's
and she was
that's
so
good
good.
stuff, man.
They fired her, and I cried a little bit because I knew I was never getting fucking that pudding again.
All right.
I gotta like.
We'll figure out your pudding situation.
Yeah, I'm sure like there's been like 7 BuzzFeed articles about it, so I'm gonna find that fucking recipe and make some,
Nice.
sell it to the world.
Alrighty.